Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Funny cigarettes for breakfast. Good morning, it's Saturday. We've got a game today. This is Guerrilla Cricket. Good morning wherever you are in the world. It is New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. There is no rain. Sydney is 23 degrees, 25 degrees and sunny, which is kind of how it should be. Probably hotter in a couple of months' time. Now, with a game not being played yesterday, whoever wins this gets bonus points effectively from this round, don't they? I'm joined by messages. I'm supposed to be joined by Jason, but he hasn't turned up either here or on Zoom, so I don't know what's going on. Forty will jump in. Thank you very much. Chaos reigns.
Good morning,
at 9 in the
how
morning.
are you travelling?
I'm doing well. It's not too early in the morning. When you've got kids, getting up this time in the morning is normal. So how do we see it? Well, New Zealand won the toss, actually. Let me give you teams and toss. New Zealand won the toss. They decided to bat, which is interesting. People going that way. It's funny, in international tournaments where there's pressure on, suddenly runs on the board in a T20 becomes a thing, doesn't it? I mean, it certainly has been in one-day international tournaments as well. New Zealand go in: Devon Conway, Finn Allen, Kane Williamson, Glenn Phillips, Jimmy Neesham, Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell wasn't in the other day, I don't think. Mitchell Santner, Tim Southey, Lockie Ferguson, and Trent Bolt. Who's he in for then? He's in for left arm. No, Santner's in.
No, Bolt was already in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I can't see who he's changed, but I'm sure Mitchell wasn't playing the other day. Maybe he was. Sri Lanka go: Patam Nasanka, Kusal Mendis, Dhananjaya de Silva, Charitha Salanka, Banuka Rajapaksa, Dasan Shanaka, Wanindu Hassaranga, Chamika Karanaratne, Mahesh Tikshana, Lahiru Kamara, and I think the new guy is Kasan Rajita. He's in for Benuro Fernando, who got injured and is out of the tournament.
Mitchell is in for Chapman.
Ah, okay. I'd never heard of Chapman before anyway, so that makes no difference. And I've at least heard of Daryl Mitchell. So there we go.
Well, Mark Chapman, wasn't he also the chap who murdered John Lennon?
Yes.
I was going to say.
That is true.
Real case of double duty there. Well, look, I think Sri Lanka be favourites, I guess. Sorry, New Zealand will be favourites. Sri Lanka have lost 3 of their fast bowlers along the way. They seem to be, and Hassaranga, from memory, rather went round the park in the last match. New Zealand seem to be finding their groove very nicely. Along with India and South Africa, you'd probably put them as the 3 favourites so far.
Yes, I think I kind of agree with that. I think I haven't seen South Africa yet. I think the one match we did cover was rained off in the end, and I wasn't doing it anyway. But I did have them as my dark horse. I think they've got potential in Australia. New Zealand, though I did see against Australia, looked absolutely oiled. But, you know, it's funny, isn't it? Finn Allen came out and scored 45 off, 14, 15 balls or whatever. If he gets out second ball today, Kane comes in, gurgitates something, and they get up to 140. It'll look a whole different thing. And that's T20 for you in a nutshell, isn't it?
Sure is.
And could be the danger of batting first.
I think that's true. I just don't see where the fireworks are going to come from in the Sri Lankan batting lineup. It's been a long time since they've had the equivalent of a Jayasuriya or a pinch hitter. Their top strike rate is Rajapaksa at 136. They've got one other guy in the 131s, and after that they're down into the 110s, the 115s. I think that's going to be their main problem.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. However, if they can keep them down to 140, 150, maybe top end 160, those sorts of strike rates are doable to get there.
Yeah,
you think, you know, if New Zealand what they did the other day and get to 200, then you really can't see it, can you? But Hassaranga's got a bowl better. He got absolutely taken apart the other day, and we were all saying him and Tikshana were the guys who were going to slow it down for them. Now Tikshana did an amazing job, but Hassaranga was absolute pile of shite.
I think it's one of those occasions. True. I think it's one of those occasions where small nations peak, like Netherlands at football. And when they're at their peak, they have to make sure they capitalise on it. And New Zealand's little golden period is probably coming to the end of its little run. Bolt's 33, Southey's 33, even Lockie Ferguson's 31, Jimmy Neesham's 32, Daryl Mitchell's 31, Williamson's 32. They're all probably a little past their peak. Now would be a great time to win a tournament because the chance may not come again for 10 or 20 years.
Well, exactly. I mean, haven't they've semi-finaled or finaled in the last 3 major tournaments, haven't they? I mean, last World Cup they lost to Australia, they lost to us in the World Cup final in the one-day international. I think they got to the semis of the previous T20 before that. And maybe golden generations don't last forever when you've only got a nation of 5 million. No, not when you've got 60-odd million either. Look at the fucking 90s golden generation. Beckham and fucking all that lot. They were shit.
Well, they were probably the best team in the world briefly, and I know that's a contentious statement, but they managed to fuck it up in the quarterfinals over and over again.
Yes, they did. We've done that many a time. I remember watching Ronaldinho score that stupid free kick over Seaman in the pub at about 5 in the morning.
Stop wallowing, the pair of you. Come on, back to cricket.
Back to cricket. So New Zealand are opening. This man's going to open.
We're all living in Finn Allen's town, and he's shutting all the bowlers down. Out of the box, he's hitting fours, over and over, as easy as that.
And he's opening with. Who's opening for? Well, they are. This is interesting. They're opening with spin.
Mahesh
Theekshana, who was
The
the
Mahesh mystery ball is coming to send you away. Coming to send you away.
I'm going to go under. Surprise, surprise.
We got some great jinglers, haven't we?
We have, haven't we? I swear, this is the series where a lot of these jingles come from. I'll go on to this after we have the first ball from Theekshana. He's going to bowl to Finn Allen. And you can't smash that out the ground. It's he didn't know what that was about. It was angling in at his middle and leg stump, pretty full. Got a leading edge back to the bowler, and there ain't no run.
Not the only Finn in the tournament, of course. Finn Hand.
Yes,
he's playing for Ireland.
Who even at least we asked our listeners how to pronounce it. I
We
heard
did well there. Very culturally aware.
that is short and pulled, but there is a man out at cow just for that, and they'll only get one run. But I did hear the TV recording Fionn as well, you see.
See, we're ahead of the game.
We are.
In touch with our inner wokeness, our tofu-eating wokerati-ness.
Absolutely.
Speak for yourself.
Well, all right. The odds at the bookies, Sri Lanka only 2-1. New Zealand big favourites at 5-2 on. Full of the first wicket, whereas where I'm going, as Devon Conway marks out as a runner. The full of the first wicket is, for the betting fans out there who are following, 25.5, which is pretty reasonable.
That's okay.
And if anyone, just to confirm, this is the wrong time to be playing a tournament in the wrong place in the world. I've got the central heating on and an extra heat around my legs as well. It's fucking freezing in Melbourne.
Energy prices not shot through the roof over there too, as that whipped out into the leg side. No, that's the thing. People don't care. It'll be a single out of the deep.
Thing is, I grew up cold all my childhood because we didn't have any money and we only had a coal fire. And I swore one thing I will never be in my life again is cold. I just can't stand it.
Well, my wife being Kenyan, we have the heating on full bore from when it's really quite warm, and that's a contentious issue in our house.
The sad thing for Forthy is he thought he'd solved that just by deciding to
To Australia,
Yeah. You need to go to Northern Territories for that, don't you? But then I suppose you boil in the summer. Oh, he's bowled him! That's an absolute cracker from Mahesh. Gave a lot of drift, gave it some air, dipped really quickly. Came back in, he went back to, there you go, I told you, went back to cut it, missed it, and got bowled on his off stump. Finn Allen's gone for 1 off 3, and it's all looking good.
Yeah.
Fuck that turn.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's a regular.
That was an absolutely cracking ball.
It was a very good ball. I mean, I guess it was the regular off break, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but he did something funny with his hands, and it dipped quite, it dipped quite suddenly at the end, and
it did seem to accelerate off the pitch, which I know is technically impossible, but it did seem to skid on much faster than he was expecting.
Maybe a lot of top spin on it rather than side spin. That was a cracking ball though. And
I'll just give you a couple of tweets while I can, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Just Ideal says, I'm pleased, this could be interpreted wrong. He says, I'm pleased to announce I'll be ensconced in the ladies for this evening's proceedings. The ladies stand, that is, at the SCG.
Clever.
Jay Grover says, morning all, one of my pumpkins has just imploded. Bother. I hope you weren't inside it at the time, Jay. And
imploded or exploded?
Imploded.
Weird. Go for it, sorry.
Yes. That's all right. Jonathan Shawland is with us. He says, good evening from New Zealand. It's great to have live cricket to watch as an alternative to the local TV channels showing last Saturday's New Zealand versus Australia match on continuous replay. Well, I guess you get some joy from that, Jonathan.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, this man's come to the crease. A lot of chat about him.
A Kiwi told me long ago, there's no one better than Marty.
And his first ball, he plays up to long on for a single.
Tell me, I want to know, have you ever seen Kane laying strokes every which way?
I love that jingle. I don't know what it's from. I'm sure one of you two.
Have you ever seen the rain? It's Creedence Clearwater Revival.
That's my generation.
I've got Creedence Clearwater Revival album, but it's not a very good one. Oh, I haven't listened to it for a while.
To be honest, there's only about 4 really good CCR songs.
Yeah,
For
probably.
that, not so great.
I think that's probably why I bought one. I remember hearing one song a long time ago. Thought that was really
There's,
good.
there's Proud Mary and
That's
Bad Moon on the Rise.
Yeah, of course. Defended up to mid-off. And there ain't no run. And that ends the first over. 1 for 3. Cracking start for Sri Lanka. Make them feel good. Still think if New Zealand can get above 160, they'll be totally in the box seat.
Yeah.
140,
Yeah,
Sri Lanka
agreed.
think they can chase down. But even at 140,
Yeah.
Sri Lanka are a bit shaky. But at least they'll have a shout.
So Mog, who's shivering in Melbourne along with Fourth, he says, well, this is an experience of great novelty. Actual cricket without rain. I was starting to think they'd added compulsory rain breaks and the changes at the start of the month. Hello. And Ravi now is getting quite excited. Just says Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka!
Yes. Right, so now he's a replacement, Rajita. Do I have a jingle for him? And the answer to that is no. What's his last name?
I don't know, because I've been taken by surprise by the fact that he exists, and I haven't got my data on him because I was expecting to do that during the first 5 overs. So I've also been taken by surprise.
I shall. I might be able to go from his first name. Anyway, he's going to come in to bowl to Kane Williamson. And it's short, it's wide. Kane doesn't take advantage of it. And it goes to a man. Oh, look, I have Kassan Rajita.
That's it.
We've got 2. Can have this one.
I lost my place to the Trundler K-Sun. At a time when playing cricket for Sri Lanka wasn't fun. I've had the Colombo cold turkey from Candy down to Gaul. And it's best if he just doesn't bat at all.
Ah, well, there's no that's staying. That's great. I hadn't heard that before.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Jeff Perko ones. This was when he first started doing jingles for us. Was the Sri Lanka series. I think it must have been the summer we moved into this flat. And that's when he.
They
really,
were 2 minutes long, though, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. He used to send us the short version and the full version, which was the entire. And a lot of them were based on Beatles numbers, and they were very good.
The director's cut.
Well, there was a bag that looked like a drowned rat was hanging over the advertising hoarding at the edge of the thing, which was disturbing. Kane Williamson. So we haven't had a ball. You haven't missed anything. Rajita is in again. Oh, now that one. A little bit of movement away, a little bit of nibble off the pitch. Not particularly quick, 79 miles an hour. It's not really a replacement for the quick guys. He's tall, hits the deck. Where's Angelo Matthews when you need him?
Well, he's a bit like the Matthew Potts, isn't he? If you keep going down the list and finally you arrive at this guy.
Yeah, Rajita, yeah.
Yes. Rajita, your time has come.
Your time has come. Well, Potts started off well. If he can, all he has to do is have three good gains from Rajita and he becomes a hero. He's in again now. Kane Williamson does Kane Williamson things and guides it down to third man. He'll get himself a single.
Well, you often get unlikely heroes in the World Cup 1983. Roger Binney perhaps comes to mind. Didn't hear much from him, as far as I remember, before or afterwards. But cometh the hour, you get that in Football World Cups as well.
Well, it was good enough to get Stuart, his son, into a side at one point.
Indeed.
The Binney man. He was...
Salvatore Scalacci in 1990, similar story.
Yeah. He was... Stuart Binney was very average for an international. Hung around the side for a few years though. Rajito is going to come into bowl to Devon Conway, who's 1 off 2. New Zealand are 4 for 1 in the second over. That's down the legs, but he's got away with it because it's come off the thigh pad. They are still going to scramble a single after a poor bit of fielding.
If you're looking for wondering what Rajita looks like, I would describe him as a long-suffering neighbour in a 70s sitcom. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, but he's probably getting racially abused in the 1970s sitcom.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but since you do, almost certainly.
Yeah.
£308, Bear.
£308. The GPL, you've got till 9:45 to get your guesses in. £308 is the biggest GPL pot we've ever had. As Vegeta comes in again, Kane Williamson just knocks it out on the offside and there's no run. No entries
Does
yet.
Does he remind me a little bit of Ajit Agarkar in his bowling style?
A little bit, but he's a little bit, he's taller. He's a sort of cross between him and I don't know who else. It's quite tall for a Sri Lankan.
Yeah, he is.
The man is out on deep square leg. Have I only got one man out? No, third man. Deep square and third man. The classic two who are out. This is a very slow first 2 overs. Kane Williamson's farting around at the crease.
It's not helped by Williamson thinking it's a test match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, get on with it, man. It's unfair on the bowling side if they lose time at the end. Vegeta comes in. Down the track comes Kane Williamson, guides it down towards his favourite third man, runs the first one hard, thinks about 2, good throw in. Oh, crap throw in. Over the top of the keeper. Hard throw in. One of these boundaries is only 60 metres. This is more sort of IPL territory. India will enjoy it here. In fact, a lot of teams will enjoy a 60-metre boundary. It seems to be over one side of the square. One boundary is 85, so I'm sure they'll show us a map.
Yeah.
Straight at one end is pretty long, at about 80.
So we've got lots of tweeters with us. Jay Grover says Fionn equals Welsh, Finn equals Irish. Angelic Scoogus in Canberra says, evening all, in keeping with the odd weather. I'm currently wearing a hoodie paired with shorts. That's nuts. Jay says, some men are inside of the ladies. I'm inside the pumpkins. Double bother. Sapun says, great start to the Sri Lankan innings. Just need to keep this pressure on now. Mog says the Bears' breakfast has really warmed him up to the jingling and says, suffering in the cold? Hell no. I love the cold and I demand more of it. And Henri Nueva says, morning, wonderful GC. Love the technical description there. He did something funny with his hand.
Yeah.
Probably encapsulate what Alan said when back in the dressing room, along with fuck it.
Yeah.
He did something funny with his hand.
Well, exactly. Well, they're definitely going to spin heavy at the top. They decided that they're, well, maybe because they haven't got any decent seamers left. But Dhananjaya De Silva is coming in for the third over, and he bowls the first ball, which is clipped up too long on for a single. Now I have got a jingle for him, and it goes like this.
Here he is 1,000,000 miles from home. Says I won't let the base attack cut through me. They need some more runs. Who could score some tons? De Silva made.
Oh, and he's bowled him! Oh my word, Devon Conway! That's another cracking ball. He's held that back a bit, it seemed to me. Gave it a little bit of air. Conway, eyes lit up, came down the track, cleared his back leg to try and smash it over the top. He's basically got beaten in the air and bowled middle stump, and I've got a second fucking bet in. Sweet. Anyway, that's not to the point. It's an out.
But it does add frizz onto your commentary.
It does. Well, I've lost a few on run-outs in the last couple of games. I haven't got one. I've gone a bit heavy on run-outs and probably given back most of the money I got from the one that I did get. It's probably how it's supposed to work, really. That's how the bookies like it.
That was an odd one, wasn't it? Because it was a fairly regulation round the wicket delivery. I'm not exactly sure how Conway managed to do it.
I think he just gave it a little bit more air, and managed to get it down at the same sort of time, and he basically did beat him in the air, genuinely beat him in the air. I think there.
Yeah, he did.
And so, well, New Zealand, here we go. This is exactly what I was describing at the top. They decided to bat the 7 for 2 in the third over. And suddenly smashing the Australians look easy, doesn't look so smart. I mean, well, it doesn't look, this is the thing about T20. I suppose this is why we love it. It's just that in endless competitions, it's not that much fun. But when there's a competition with a winner in 3.5 weeks, it kind of is. So who's next in? It will be, now, he's a bit of a banger, isn't he? If I remember rightly. Didn't he get picked up in the IPL as a banger? No, I know he's got a jingle.
Glenn Phillips.
Yeah, Glenn Phillips. I was just going to try and play the jingle.
By the bad, loved by the good. Glenn Phillips, Glenn Phillips, Glenn Phillips.
That was 2 IPLs ago. We heard a lot about him. He obviously had a really good season in some tournament in New Zealand. Didn't look that clever in the IPL, I didn't think. Next ball is defended square on the offside, and there's no run.
With Phillips and Williamson at the wicket, you've got my perfect combination of one slapper, one banger.
Yeah,
One grinder, sorry. One banger. Slapper and a grinder.
nice. They'll be having fun together. Dhananjaya floats that one up outside the off stump. That'll be the first boundary and a release shot as Phillips goes back, cuts it through the offside, and they will get 4 runs. First of the day.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now this is, for all Bennett's faults and things I don't believe about his theory about T20 cricket, this is kind of set up for Kane Williamson. He can certainly grind out 20 overs here, and he is capable of accelerating when he needs to, if it gets to that point. He's a class batsman. He's defended back down the track by Phillips, and there's 1 run. Do you think, apart from how many? So you got so they've had 3 spinners already, and you still got Hassaranga.
You went
to bowl.
back to front there. There was no run, and you said there was 1 this
Oh,
time.
did I? Well, no run. Guided round a corner to the man behind square, and there's no run. I was just thinking, so they've had 3 spinners already, and Hassaranga hasn't bowled. That's 4 spinners. So are they going to go with a 4 spin attack? Maybe it's the thing.
Well, I think they might feel a bit nervous about Hassaranga after performance in the last match. Right.
Well, I think
we're for about 50.
Well, yes, but I mean, if you bring Hassaranga in now, surely they're not going to try and smash. I mean, that in fact, it might be a good ploy. Bring him in now. They might want to take him apart. Stick a couple of guys.
Take him away now. Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah. Angelic Scooter says, yes, Credence are a favourite of mine, even though Fortunate Son was kind of ruined by its use in Forrest Gump. Still one of the great guitar riff bands. And Tony Bishop says, yes, Sweet, Hitchhiker and Fortunate Son, surely in that top selection 40. Mog says,
Fortunate Son,
does it again. And Jay Grover says, Perco's full versions tend to be 4 discs long and have a cover by Roshadeen.
Ooh, Mog, having a dig. Rajita comes back into the attack, and first ball is defended down the track. There's no run. The only one thing about having 4 spinners and a seamer would be who I don't really like spinners bowling death overs. Yeah,
depends, doesn't it? There have been some good spin death bowling. I'm just trying.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think of that over the Pakistan-India game. I was shocked at that. Oh, now that one has leapt a little bit on Kane Williamson. He's prodded at it, pulled his bat out of the way rather theatrically, and it's gone through to the keeper, and there's no run.
Yes.
Early season
well, look, I think
Australia.
One of the good things about the tournament so far is it's not been dominated completely by the bat. We're never quite sure what's going to happen, and all the better for it. And as Messi has pointed out in his Maximum article, it's been great not to have the boundary ropes in so ridiculously short as well. So
yeah,
a good balanced tournament.
Exactly, that's a good shot by Kane Williamson. Hit that hard and square. Fielder doesn't have a long way to go, but it's made itself to the boundary, and it will be 4 runs. Now Jason's turned up 40.
Okay, I will head off then.
You just head off.
I'll
You'll
see
be back
you
in a couple of overs. Yeah, and we'll welcome in Jason. Good morning, Jason. Late to the party. What happened? Alarm clock won't go off.
No, my computer decided to try and apply updates and restart, but I don't have much control over that.
No, what? Yeah, PCs do that, and they're really irritating. They don't give you a choice after a while, do they? Rajita is in, and Kane Williamson plays it out to the offside. There's no run. Thoughts on the early game, Jason? Didn't see this happening, did we?
No, I'm a bit out of speed on that. But yeah, good start for Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Well on top, and forcing a rebuild and possibly a reduced score.
And exactly, and if they can keep them down to around about 140, I think they'll think they're in a chance. Even up to 160, as I've said, I think Sri Lanka will think they've got it'll be an even game.
I haven't seen their sides. Are they playing their players that come into the squad because of injuries? And
Rajita's into the squad and he's playing. That ball was just played up to mid-on for no run. Their pace bowling has taken a massive hit. They don't really have any left. So we've had 3 overs of spinners and we haven't had Hassaranga yet so far.
Well, let's hope it's a pitch that turns then.
Well, they've done all right so far. Is that out? It is as well. That's a fucking cracker. Rajita has bowled that wide, swinging away, tempting Kane Williamson, who's had a flash, and it's clipped through to the keeper. And, you know, suddenly New Zealand look very, very, very fallible. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Top edge, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, he's out. Excellent. Well, I mean, this is a shambles. New Zealand are 15 for 3 after 4 overs, going nowhere fast, losing wickets, and they've got a big rebuild to do. Over to you, Messi. What's the Twitterati saying?
Lots of CCR love still going on. Ravi says, Lodi, run through the jungle. I heard it through the grapevine. Fortunate sun, bad moon rising, down on the corner. And all you could think of is songs covered by Boney M and Tina Turner. I thought you had a music podcast, Forthy. Oh, that's a bit.
Ooh, that's a dig there.
Yeah. Brian 001's with us. Hello, Brian. Morning, I'm bugger. I missed the first wicket. What happened? What's the weather doing there today? The weather is beautiful. Yeah. Although I think there's a lot of moisture still in the pitch. And the first wicket was an off spinner that turned and kept a little. Well, it hurried through.
Yeah, it's skidded on.
Allen.
Yeah. He went back to cut it, and his off stump was taken. Daryl Mitchell is in at number 5. He's capable, as we saw over the summer, of doing something.
Son of an old black Fernie on Peep Show wrote that book of Daryl, not David Mitchell.
Glenn Phillips face up. Mahesh Tikshana comes in again. It's full. It's played back to him. Going deep in his crease, Phillips. Didn't really know what was going on, I don't think. Bit of a misfield, but goes up to mid-off and there's no run. Yeah, it seemed to jump a little bit, stopping the pitch a bit there, maybe. And sit up. Got a bit higher on him, maybe, than he thought. Kane Williamson. Thin edge. I didn't. Well, obviously we've got on the TV sound, so I couldn't hear it. That's very full again. Phillips bashes it down the ground. We'll get 1 to long on. Not a full crowd in there yet today. I'm surprised at that. Did the Kiwis come over for this? It's only a quick hop across the Tasman.
I bet there's a lot of Sri Lankans there.
Yeah.
They are just so full of energy when they're at the cricket. They're fantastic.
Yeah. Well, New Zealand in a spot of bother. Mahesh into his second over. He's got 1 for 4 so far. Go for it.
This group keeps on surprising us. I mean, if Sri Lanka beat New Zealand, then that just makes everybody wide open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's back in the game. If Sri Lanka win this, everyone's back in the game, aren't they? In fact, New Zealand.
Sri Lanka on top of the group, ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
After 2 games.
Well,
each.
they are Asia Cup champions. That one was clipped down to long on once again for another single. You know, they've got to come off the back of that and go, yeah, you know, we're not that bad.
Someone did tout them as a bolter for this World Cup. I'm trying to remember some girl. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It might have been an India.
Might have been Bennett, obviously. That one is played up to long on. It'll just be the 1 run.
Do you think Bennett's just had an emergency call to go over there and improve them?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Well, they've come into $18 to win the World Cup. I got a little bit of money on them at 20, but I could have got them at 50 at one stage.
Yeah, I'm annoyed I didn't put any money on South Africa 20s before the tournament started. Another full delivery, clipped into mid-wicket. There'll be no run.
Did you
more
forego
points
your usual unders?
I got 2. I didn't go for the third.
Unders,
I thought that was being a bit greedy.
Doesn't usually stop you.
Oh yeah, I know. Mahesh down the track comes Daryl Mitchell. Doesn't get to the pitch of it. Stops his shot, defends it, comes off the inside half of the bat, goes square on the leg side, and they scoot through for a quick single. That's the end of the 5th over. We're due a change. 2 people are waiting to enter. Who are they? John Batham and Jack Hope, who are both on now, funnily enough, with 40.
Okay. Catch you soon.
Yeah, catch
Mog
you
is the
soon.
next tweet about Richard Peel.
Jack.
Very good, thank you.
Jack, you're doing a little bit of spot of ball by ball, if you can get in. And John, you're summarising. I'll wait for you to arrive before I disappear. Morning, John.
Yes, John.
There's Jack.
Morning, Bear.
Morning, Jack.
Morning. Morning.
All right,
Morning,
I'm off.
everyone.
See you all in a bit.
Alright, Bear. We'll be able to see you the whole time and just stare at you on Zoom. A little bit behind broke the fourth wall there slightly
The
there.
vision of Bear.
Talking of the fourth wall, Jack, I'm here too.
Yeah, hello. Regita's in. Onto the pad to Mitchell and knocked out to deep square leg for a single. 21 for 3, New Zealand. Not a great start.
No, probably
Unless
not
you're
what we
Sri
were
Lankan.
expecting, as we said.
No, I think most people thought that this would be not an easy game for New Zealand, but a game they're well capable of winning. I think they'll take some winning from here, to be honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know whether it's just me though, chaps. I just think it's nice to be watching a tournament where not every team is 65 for none off the first 6.
Yes, I totally agree.
G2 and wide off stop cut from Phillips. That's going to go away for 4. It's a good shot, beats point easily, and cannons into the rope.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's made for a change, I think. What I quite like about it actually is the size of the boundaries. I don't think it's necessarily harder to bat. When the UAE there were a lot of low scores, and I think that was because it was actually genuinely difficult to bat, and so it was quite boring. We've seen a lot of action. There's lots of shots that just don't always go for 4 or 6. Regita's in wide cut, bounces once, fielded at point, almost a carbon copy of the ball before. Except it didn't pierce the infield on that occasion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. We've seen, probably the 2 best games of the tournament. Not a huge number of runs scored, but tremendous tension and really tight finishes. And to me, that's just more important, and it's more of a contest. If sport isn't a contest, we're struggling. For me.
And Phillips faces up. For the 4th ball of Regita's over, it's a slower one, in on the pads, and Phillips falls over slightly, trying to steer that through the gap to pick up the run. So can't beat mid wicket. And it's a dot ball.
It's a good slow ball, that.
That's good. I think if you were writing a screenplay in which there were 2 New Zealand batsmen, you'd probably go for Glenn Phillips and Daryl Mitchell as their names.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand will certainly be hoping so right now.
Classic Kiwi names.
He's in full push back past him. They think about a run but don't set off early enough, so it's dot ball. GPL, as I assume everyone here has entered, £308. You've got about 15 minutes left to get your pound in, or multiple pounds. Get 21 tickets for £20. You can buy up every. Well, you know what I mean. GorillaCricket.com/competition. The rules are there.
Could pay a utility bill for a week. Huh?
Yeah, it could be warm for 1 month.
Steady on. I'm not sure it could.
Got the last ball of the power play coming up here. It's been definitely a win for Sri Lanka so far. It's full. Driven by Phillips, he finds the man at mid-off, who spills it, and so they will come through for a quick single. 25 for 3 at the end of the 6th over.
Mog says, listening to Mr. Peel's jingles with just voice and guitar makes me think I need to cut back on synth arps and 80s brass pads and 9 different types of drum machine. It's all part of the creative process, Mog. Farong, greetings from Mirpur. Hope everyone is well. Elect to bat and 2 down already. The Black keeps on that decision. Oh well, at least we have a game on. Absolutely we do. Mog has got some advice for Jason. You can turn those forced Windows updates off, you know. Supan Ambapatia, Sri Lanka for the World Cup win. And just sneak one more in. Brian 001. No crowd noise on Bears TV feed. I was shattered the other day when Tony Bishop said the crowd noise we usually hear is a backing track. I would have thought it was live from the game. Next thing for Tony to shatter will be Christmas. Hassaranga time.
The crowd are there.
Bishop
We were just,
that would be quite a headline.
We were just saying they're probably a bit nervous about, on the last commentary, maybe a bit nervous about Hassaranga who went around the park last time, but they've held him back to the 7th over. With the 4th spinner they've used so far.
Wow.
Yeah, he did get some.
Well, they did say at the
last
toss that the spinners were going to be crucial, did they not? So
Indeed.
Here he comes. He starts with a good one. It's a wrong one. I don't think Phillips read that till it bounced. He pushes it back to the bowler. And it's a dot ball, which is a good start. You know, if you've been round the park in the previous match, start with a dot ball. Not bad at all. Here he comes once more. Another flighted ball. Phillips gives himself a little bit of room and slaps it back past the bowler, but it's along the floor and it will reach the man at long off rather than get past him. So it's just a single, 26-4-3.
it's a good time to come on to bowl if you've, as you say, if you've gone around the park in the last game. If the opposition's 26 for 3, they're not gonna be launching at everything for a while, probably.
Yeah, here he comes again. That looked like the wrong one out the back of his hand. It's a reverse sweep. This is going to run down towards the 3rd man boundary. Will it reach? No, not quite. It's the long Australian boundary. Rajitha gets there, turns it back, or throws it back rather, and New Zealand pick up a couple of runs.
Nice little bit of invention.
Yeah, it was good. He kept it down really, really well.
Big stride up with that.
Yeah, a little unlucky not to pick up 4, to be honest. Here he comes again, Hassaranga, flighted, and that one's nurdled down towards long on for 1.
Treating him with respect. Good time to come on to bowl. 3 wickets down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Early on.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Yeah.
Well, he doesn't usually go around the park. It's fair to say his economy rate after 48 T20 internationals is 6.61, which is extremely favourable. I think he just hit the wrong man at the last time in the last match.
Yeah, I think Australia looked like they had a little bit of a plan for him as well. They sat really deep and played tennis shots. That's a full delivery. It's driven. Oh, he's driven in the air, straight down the throat of long off.
No, dear me.
One of the easiest catches you will see at this level.
Dear, dear.
It's difficult to describe how poor that was, really. Really tossed up. It beats Mitchell in the air, or Phillips in the air rather. It hits him basically on the sternum. I'm not even sure he gets a hand on that. I mean, he should have got both. Pretty poor cricket.
That's dreadful, isn't it? That's
absolute
just
shocker.
Absolutely dreadful.
I think it was
how expensive will that be?
Here he comes again, Hassaranga, wrong and outside off stump, pushed towards point. They don't come through for a single, so it's 5 off the over. Should have been 4 and a wicket, really. New Zealand 30 for 3 after 7.
Ooh, it's me. Hang on. Hold your horses. Just got taken by surprise for a moment. Okay, here we are. Jay Grover. Jack's wallpaper is mint.
Good,
Well
thanks,
done,
Jay.
Angelic Scooters, 21 dot balls to the power play. Well, that's not what I was expecting. Jace, talking about works laptops and group policies. So Jason Mogg getting in some technical detail there. Mogg, those motherfuckers, replying to Jace. And Tony Bishop. Did I say that? Something's definitely real. We've asked him to go on GC for the Boxing Day test on many occasions. He's always claimed he's a bit shagged out after having to work over Christmas. And I think we're pretty well up to date.
Awesome. What's the crowd,
Oh,
you reckon, for this one?
There's probably more Sri Lankans than New Zealand's in the crowd. It's about, I don't know, half full.
Yeah, not too bad. It looks like the lower ring is pretty full, and then the tier above maybe slightly more sparse.
Lovely
You
old
very
ground.
good. Yeah, you seem to get a good sky at the SCG as well.
You do, don't you? Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. One of the best things about Sydney, of course, which there are not that many.
We're glad you said that.
I'm allowed to say it as a Melbourne.
Exactly, that's my point.
Although after the weather performance yesterday, we've got nothing to be proud of.
Oh,
Short
dear.
ball down the leg side. It's got a little bit of a glove on it, I think, Glenn Phillips. It runs very, very fine, beats the fielder. It will be 4 runs. Ugly delivery, pretty ugly shot, but it nets 4.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot on it, but it was trolley, let's face it.
It was pretty.
It deserved to disappear to where it disappeared to, really.
It was pretty poor stuff.
Rank short ball down leg side.
Pretty shoddy cricket all round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Phillips faces up again. Just back of a length, on off stump, dropped into the offside. They run through for a quick single, brings Mitchell on to strike, and New Zealand up to 35.
Big unit then, Phillips, isn't he?
Is he? I would have him more in the pocket rocket category, I think.
Well, I suppose good things come in small doses, but yes, he's probably below average height, but powerfully there.
As we get a look at the pre-match ceremony, I don't know why we're seeing that, I'm not sure. Kamira in, pushed back to not Kamira, sorry. Lahiru back to him, fielded, and it's a dot ball.
Bearing in mind their start, how many do you think New Zealand will feel they need to still be in the box seat?
I think that's a really good question. I think that they'll fancy they have a chance if they get to 150. I think Sri Lanka, their strong suit is probably bowling.
Yeah, agreed.
As Lahiru comes in, big heave from Mitchell, and it's a thick inside edge, or thickish inside edge, takes the ball down to fine leg for a single.
Heavens, that was ugly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think they might still think they've got a chance around about 135.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that as well. It looks like we're going to have
That's a noble. A free hit.
No ball.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Not helpful.
No, not
Especially with
helpful at all.
Phillips on strike. Dear me.
Although there seems to be a long a history of nobody actually doing anything with these free hits. I can't remember last time I went for a 6.
Well, you know what's going to happen now, Fourthly, don't we?
Yeah,
Famous
I've
last
said it.
words here, Forthy. You could have talked this one
I
up.
have said it.
Sure.
It's
It's,
got
it's
straight up in the
high.
air, actually.
I think this will be caught. Oh no, it's dropped, but it doesn't really matter. Thrown into the keeper. They come through for a couple of runs. They had enough hang time so they could run 2 and take themselves up to 39.
On the evidence of what we've seen so far, fielding certainly isn't Sri Lanka's strong suit.
No, I mean, I guess you could say maybe he wasn't concentrating on that one, but it's pretty pretty poor work again, to be honest.
Bloke in the crowd doesn't realise it was a free hit.
I think that was Hassaranga who actually was the bowler when the previous ball was
Yes,
dropped.
indeed it was, yeah.
I think he almost played that deliberately for the hang time, didn't he? So he could come back with 2.
Phillips has moved himself up to 20 from 18 balls as Lahiru fires a slower ball wide, miles down the leg side. Skips through to the wicketkeeper on the 3rd or 4th bounce.
Wide.
He's having a little bit of a mare this over, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. A rank long hop, a no ball and a wide. But apart from that, it's all good.
Well, he's not a regular in the side, and perhaps we're seeing why now.
Yeah, indeed, it's becoming obvious, yeah.
Here he comes once more. That's not a bad ball. In the test match length area. Jags back into Phillips. He gets his bat down leg on it. Picks up a single into the leg side. 5 minutes for your GPL predictions.
Yes, it's now at an all-time high of 315 quid.
328 now.
It's 28, going up all the time.
Flipping heck. Can you believe that?
That's a lot of money.
It is.
3 days on you. 3 days of gas and electricity for you there.
Guess it depends whose house you live in.
Wide off stump and smashed back past him. Will only be a single though. Hassaranga out at the on the long on boundary fields and returns to the wicketkeeper. Brings the over to a conclusion. 12 off it, so that frees New Zealand up a little bit. They're 42 for 3 after 8.
So Josie Oak asks, morning, are we doomed, I think, of England, yet if Sri Lanka win this? I don't think so, Josie. I haven't done the math or the maths, but I think it just makes everything wide open again if Sri Lanka win this one. That might actually suit us quite well, us being England on this occasion. Mog, play the new free hit jingle Colin demanded I do. There, do you want to play it? Yeah.
You get a free hit if they bowl a no ball. Off a free hit, you mostly can't get out at all.
Very nice. I think we're up to date.
Bit
Here's
of heavy
Hassaranga.
crash there.
Turned round the corner to a fine leg, who comes in, spills the ball, but they don't come through for a single. Stays at 42 for 3. I think Phillips is having a little bit of trouble picking up which way this is going to spin, which obviously plays into Hassaranga's hands. Here he comes again, plays that off the back foot with a big whip of his wrists down to long on, and will take a single.
Sri Lanka will be keen not to bowl another 8 ball over here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, most times in cricket, that's what you want to avoid. Next man in for New
Plan
Zealand.
not to bowl an 8 ball over. Yeah.
Next man is Jimmy Neesham, and then there's Santner. So a little bit of batting to come for the Kiwis. As Rongan goes a little bit down the leg side, straight to the man at short fine. They don't make it through for a single.
Well, I think
So
the fact that
recently-
Neesham's in next takes a little bit of pressure off, doesn't it? Because you know that he's a guy that can make up ground very quickly.
Yeah, as Hassaranga comes in very full, it's Rongan again, knocked down the ground. They look for 2, they don't take it. Probably a wise decision. The man was in off the rope, but long off pretty quickly.
It is a bit of a long tail though. If you get past these, if they another couple of quick wickets for the last 4 are Sodhi, Southey, Ferguson, Bolt, you wouldn't be too. I know Southey can apply the long handle, but you wouldn't be too confident.
Sure, and that's played again off the back foot by Mitchell with a lot of force down to long on. Picks up another single. So it looks like they've decided they're just going to negotiate Hassaranga rather than eviscerate Hassaranga.
Well, I think these two have got to build some kind of platform for the reasons that Forthy's just given, really, that you want to build a platform for Neesham, but you don't want to open a door for the Sri Lankans to knock you over, do you?
Yeah, as the ball is defended into the offside, there's no run there, and that brings the 9th over to a conclusion. 45 for 3 are New Zealand.
Very good. Yes, we do have 1 or 2 more tweets. I spoke too soon. Mog, no, not that one, Bear. So apparently you played the wrong one, according to Mog. Sorry about that. And Jay said, Jace adds that a result, presumably for Sri Lanka, that's what he's replying to, very good for Australia, given their last 2 opponents, which I believe were Afghanistan and Ireland, not so much for England, who have to play both of these teams above them in the group with probably only 1 qualification space available. So, yeah, that is probably true. But on the other hand, do we want New Zealand looking at one of those places? I must admit I haven't done all the manifestations of what the implications are for England. Got to win the matches, really, haven't you?
I thought from an English point of view before the start of the game that the best thing was for New Zealand to keep winning.
Yeah, and then lock up
until they
first place.
beat us,
Probably right.
obviously. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not feeling great about England in this tournament. It just feels like things aren't quite running their way. Anyway, we'll see.
I agree.
Here comes Chamika for his first over. Goes onto the hip of Daryl Mitchell first ball, and it's turned towards deep square leg for a single.
Did both you two guys?
Humbleness is worth when Jamaica inherit the earth.
Not sure. I was going to ask, both of you two guys have full-time jobs. Just sort of piece your commentary around it.
Yeah, but it's a Saturday here, so it's alright.
Depends on your job, I suppose.
Yeah, Chamika in again. Phillips goes for a stylish looking flick into the leg side, misses it. It flicks up into the air, and a very energetic bowler comes through to swoop on the ball before they can come through for a single. So it's a dot there.
Self-employed in my case, 40.
Yeah, okay. Well, write your own rules.
Yeah, indeed.
Nice.
Has some advantages. Unless you're expecting money from Rishi Sunak during lockdown, in which case you've got bugger all. But there you go.
Here comes Chamika again. Nice smooth run up, comes past the umpire, wide off stump, it's cut, beats point. Will this run away for 4? No, the fielder coming around from deep cover, covers ground well and stops it from being a 3 as well, so good piece of fielding there. There's a couple of runs, 48 for 3 New Zealand, halfway through the 9th over.
Does you think Jamaica reminds you at all of Dimitri Mascarenhas in both the way he bowls and the way he looks? Any thoughts on that? No. It's a short
I
time.
hadn't noticed it. Not saying you're wrong. It's the 28th dot ball for Sri Lanka so far in this innings. Nearly 50% of the deliveries sent down. That shot that's whipped high up in the air. Will it have the distance? It does. About 3 or 4 rows back over the rope. I think the deep square leg fielder thought he was in play. Phillips has done enough there. A sixer. Yeah, 75 metres over backward square leg. Not caught in the crowd. There's a little bit of a nothing ball, I think you'd say. But New Zealand's starting to put together a little bit of momentum here.
Looks like there was a lot of diving out of the way of that 6. Scattering for cover.
Oh, it's a slower ball. It's quite a good slower ball as well, and Phillips doesn't pick it up at all. It hits him on the shoe. There's a big appeal, and then a little bit of carnage as both batters set off and then turn around. There was definitely no run out. I think the ball was going to drift down the leg side, and we've got the DRS counter up on the screen now.
Don't think they're going to pursue it, are they?
Yeah, there's no conflab between captain and others.
I think I thought Jamaica was rather the Stuart Broad of the team in the last match.
Down leg side.
And if he didn't think it was going to hit, I don't think anyone else did.
Big appeal, but not out. 54 for 3 New Zealand. Recovering enough. They'll probably be thinking about 145 now, I think. Streaky was another slower ball, and it's a dot ball. He rather aggressively shies or shakes the shy at the stumps, and there's a little bit of gesturing between batter and bowler. I think mostly in good humour. That's us done. 54 for 3, and there's a whole new team of people ready to come and talk.
I think I'm staying on. Thanks very much, Jack. Thanks very much, John. Hello, Jace. Hello, Messi. How you doing?
Good. I see the tweeters are challenging you, actually, Forthy.
Well, are they? I've got the last one was Jason 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, saw that.
Have there been 1 or 2 since then?
Well, the CCR stuff is continuing to roll. Tony Bishop says a great version of I Heard It Through the Grapevine by CCR, but it was a cover done by the Miracles. Gladys Knight and Marvin Gaye before them. To which Ravi now says absolutely, but there stands out amongst other covers of the Great Gaye. But this is the one. Ravi now says, after Fourth is CCR crap, I have to ask him to establish his music credentials. Do you like any or all of The Who, Genesis, or Skunk Anansi?
Right, so Ravi, in reply to that, not much, no, and no.
So there you go. That sounds like a qualification for me.
Although I will say, I do have some musical credentials, and I do run a music podcast. There is that.
No. I mean, I was thinking that that just established boundaries for you.
Fair enough.
We're on a drinks break. So, what do you reckon as to where we are?
Well, I'm going to throw that one over to Jace because he hasn't had quite enough microphone time yet today, I feel. So, how are you reading it, Jace?
I think Sri Lanka are well ahead in the game, but they are starting to let the New Zealanders get a grip on it. They're starting to rebuild. They've still got, as you say, Jimmy Neesham to come, who can accelerate the innings massively, given opportunity to do so. I think anything over 120 with their bowling, they think they might have a chance, because I think the wicket isn't particularly easy to play.
No, I'd agree with that. I don't think. I think, yeah, even 130, 120 is fantastic to get, but upwards of 130, 135, certainly 140 would make it a very even contest. And anything over that, you probably still see them as favourite. And
you've also got to factor in the somewhat brittle Sri Lankan batting as well.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, not only brittle, but doesn't really have an accelerator agent. Kusal Mendis, Rajapaksa to a degree, but other than that,
I'm just trying to work out why possibly one of the better T20 players, Kilsu Pereira, is not playing. I presume he's not in the squad even.
I don't know. Maybe we can find out.
I'm looking at Sri Lanka's scores so far in this series, and against Sri Lanka in Melbourne on the 11th of October, they made 155.
Just to pause there a moment, that's okay, Messi. Dylan Janea's back in for the second half of the New Zealand innings. They start with fields it off his own bowling, but they do come through for one. Phillips is back on strike. Mitchell moves through to 12. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take my life in my hands and attempt the gorilla feed commentary, which is a little jerky, and occasionally I might miss a ball. So I might say, you step in for a moment, Jason, because sometimes I just get these 2 or 3 second gaps. But most balls I get. That's played out by Phillips down to the boundary there. That's Dylan Janea. They come back just for the single, I think. So they're up, oh no, for 2. So they're operating in. They had one big hit just before the break, one huge 6, and there were signs of aggression. It looks like Phillips is going to take on that role. Mitchell, I hesitate to say the anchor, he's 12 off 15, Phillips is 32 off 28. Just beginning to accelerate. And there's a case of a ball I didn't really see, said Jason. What happened there?
Oh, they went for a quick single. There's a bit of a mix-up between the Sri Lankan bowler and the running batsman, who seemed to get in each other's way, but in the end it was just a safe single with a shy at the stumps at the bowler's end.
Seeing a replay of the appalling miss from Papamisanka a little earlier. That was an opportunity to get rid of Phillips early on in his innings. It's an absolute dolly. 1-2-2-1. That so far in Dylan Jaya's second over. He's gone 1 for 11, so he's going okay.
Yeah, I'm not the best outfielder nowadays, but I think even I would have had a chance to catch that.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that one's way short, so it's dragged right down by Dylan Janea, but they can only get it out to the middle deep square for a single. They've really missed out on that one. So that was Mitchell moving on to 13, although maybe he'll be quite happy to give the strike back to Phillips. He's got the one last ball of the Dhananjaya over to go. Gives it a bit of air, but it's in fact full tossed, and again he can only get it down to the man at long off. So again, for a second ball in a row, New Zealand missing out on an opportunity. Or they've come back for a second, they had to hurry, but they got there in time. So 2, 4, 6, 9 off the over. They weren't too upset with that start. We hand over to Messi. What's happening on social?
Well, I got to say, Forthy, you have split the crowd right down the middle.
Okay.
Jay Grover says Forthy is my musical guru.
I love Jay. I love Ravi too, but I'll particularly love Jay.
Well, Ravi says Forthy is now musically dead to me. So you can't get much different to that, can you? Angelic Scooter says in news messages, might like the Scorchers are 74 for 2 after 9.4 in their WBBL match against Brisbane tonight. Yes, actually, they're now 2 for 82. I'm watching it on my other TV at the moment, so keeping an eye on lots of stuff going on. Thank you for that, though, Scott. It's hard work keeping an eye on all these things at once, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Chimika back for his second over. First one went for 9. This is 12th over innings. New Zealand 63 for 3. The innings fascinatingly poised. At this stage, could literally go either way. Chimika in, slightly slower ball. It's clubbed back over the bowler's head, but just straight down to long off. And a little bit of a misfield there. Have they come back for 2?
They have.
Yes, they have. Probably shouldn't have done.
I sense this is a tactic from Sri Lanka, is to take the pace off. Chimika seems to be bowling slower balls almost exclusively, with a very occasional one aimed up at the stumps, but most of them are sort of off pace and wide, so you have to fetch the ball.
Yeah, I think you're dead right, Jason. Deliberate tactic on this pitch to really take the pace off. And of course New Zealand will be fully aware of that as well. And that one is launched somewhere over the off region, somewhere over the inner ring. It's plugged between the inner and the outer ring, and they come back for 2, I think. Didn't quite see there, but
just the one to the boundary.
Just the one. Just the one to the boundary rider, yes. So that's
it was up and over, but there's a sweeper on the offside, the solitary sweeper on the offside.
And that's the 50 partnership, 51 off 46 balls. Phillips and Mitchell, they've laid the base. Can they kick on from here? I think Mitchell will be keen to give Phillips the strike, which was probably the tactic of that last ball. Phillips really got his eye in now. Settles over once again. Chimika comes in. Again takes the pace off. And this time a real agricultural swipe by Phillips. Completely misses the ball. The ball goes through to the keeper, no run.
I think Mitchell's got an awkward decision to make eventually as to whether it's better for him to stay in and to try and score in conversation with Glenn Phillips, or whether he's better just flinging his bat and getting out and allowing Jimmy Neesham to get in.
And Diminish to go in. I would say maybe for the next 2, 3, even 4 overs, he's better off staying there because it's quite a long tail. That is wide and clubbed by Phillips. Past the man at point. Maybe he could have done better for 4 of these.
I think wasn't it Phil?
It's 3 for 3, not of these. I don't know if we've got a special 3 jingle. I suspect we haven't, but there was a man lurking on the boundary there in the spot, and that Bear confirms no 3 jingle. That was a shoddy bit of fielding. Dived right over it. There's been some pretty awful fielding from the Sri Lankans, not least the drop catch by Pathan Nisanka when Phillips was hardly got in at all. Chimika in again, 4th ball of the over. That's wide, would have been a wide, clubbed, probably could have left it there by Phillips, and they just come back for the one. And 17 for 3. Yeah, so
the march now. They're looking to push the envelope of the scoring, running harder and faster.
Signs of intent. Chimika in for the last ball of his second over. Again, the slower ball again. He bamboozles Phillips, who's made to look a bit of a fool there. Shakes his head ruefully At the end of the 12th over, that just went straight through to the keeper. Dot ball. New Zealand 70 for 3. Jamaica none for 16 off his 2. Mitchell 17 off 19.
Angelic Scooter follows up, says, well, you know what they say, too much cricket is never enough, especially if it's all played simultaneously. Moggs, so I for one remain unconvinced of Forthy's musical street cred, but Skankanansi suck balls.
And Genesis didn't.
Sapun says, what the fuck is going on with all these missed fields? Sri Lanka weren't this bad at the start of the tournament. That's certainly true. I think there may be a degree of exhaustion. Not only have they played a lot of games with the pre-tournament, but they've also been travelling an awful lot around the country.
Yeah, and I think unfairly they've gone from Hobart to Sydney to Perth. They're going up to Brisbane. I really do think their schedule has been unfair. To be fair. We're into the 13th over. It's Wanindu Hassaranga, who's only gone for 8. Now, will they continue to treat him with respect, or are they going to have to get something a little bit more out of these last 2 overs? Well, I think the answer there is Mitchell coming down the track, but having done that, he plays a reasonably defensive shot and hands the strike back over to Phillips, which is probably the correct thing to do, just the single.
Apropos the GPL, I can tell you it closed on £336 with 54 entrants, I think it is. And I had tweeted out that we may never get this high again, even with funny cigarettes, to which Mogg says the bear is prepared to challenge the highness limits.
Now, Phillips failed to get that one away off Wanindu Hassaranga. He's just gone for 1 off his first 2 balls. He's got 3 4s and a 6. He's 35 balls to get them. They'll be looking to Phillips and shortly Neesham to do something a bit more about this. That one goes out into the outfield where it's successfully fielded. Just the one, I think. Yes, just the one. And that puts much of on strike.
Hassaranga is quite hard to pick up, and because he's quite skiddy through off the deck, and it's quite hard for you to get a grip of him generally. Although saying that,
well, Mitchell's played that one down to long on, and my feed indicates that it's just the one. It's 2, in fact. So Mitchell stays on strike. Maybe not the ideal solution. Seen perhaps a bit too much of it. And we're seeing a replay of how that was bowled. Very round arm.
Very.
That's
very odd. I mean, that is absurdly round arm.
He almost did a somersault before bowling it.
Yeah.
Version.
Yes, indeed. That's a dot ball. So this has been successful over for Sri Lanka. More frustration for New Zealand. That's a more conventional delivery. Really mixing it up here, Hassaranga. It's just played out to point, and they scurry through for the single. New Zealand 75 for 3 at the end of the 13th. Messi.
So Mogg asks a question which is essentially for Bear. Do you want a 3 jingle, Bear?
No, I do not want a 3 jingle.
There you go. He's got enough like a 3 already.
Like a 3 jingle.
Yeah, but it's another thing to play. Jay says middle-class age male Indians' obsessions with Genesis and Pink Floyd is truly bizarre. A family friend had a Floyd chill-out room at his wedding in the late 90s. To be fair, given Indian weddings' hecticness, I kind of got that one. And Josie Oak says, I'm surprised these sad old rockers aren't extolling the music of Jerry Lee Lewis, since he's just snuffed it. Pretty good. I assume when he gets to the gates of heaven, there'll be 2 wives asking him to explain himself. Well, that's assuming both of them got there.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at school, there was a Genesis crew, and they all had sweatshirts with the landlines down on Broadway, and the young punk guys wanted absolutely nothing to do with them. Never post-punk came along. Then they went off into Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and we went off into Joy Division in the fall. And we knew we were right, and they were wrong. So sorry, Rafi. In comes Chamika for the start of his 3rd over. Again, takes the pace off. This time Phillips does connect with it, manages to get it out to the sweeper on the boundary.
It's Nissan Shi.
And gets it past the sweeper on the boundary. Thank you, my feed. Clearly for 4 runs.
That was a more
Hit that well. Managed to connect with that one, Jace.
Yeah, that was a more on-pace delivery than some of the other ones he's bowled, which is why I think he had better luck timing it and placing it.
Didn't have better luck with my feed, as I say. Slightly taking my life in my hands here. A little bit of double guessing about what's happening from time to time, but we're all professionals. We're doing our best. Unpaid professionals.
Yeah, I was going to say. Where's the money?
Jamaica, and this one is swiped. It's going to land in outside the safe hands of the man at long arm. So they'll come back to 2. And Phillips remaining on strike. I couldn't see, was that a valiant attempt at a catch there, Jace, or again they screwed up?
I can't say because my feed also stuck just as they
It
find.
was
We're looking at it now.
reasonable attempt, but he could have actually made a bit more effort.
I think Bear also. Oh, he got to it, didn't he? He got to it, but perhaps he should have made a bit more effort to get to it in the first place. This has been a shoddy fielding performance from Sri Lanka. It really has.
I'm going to put in one point here. Has the weather and the wetness underfoot probably caused some of these misfields and issues with catching?
I don't know.
There's usually a reason for things before we all do a pile on. Absolutely right. I like your measured approach. Very mature, Jason. Jamaica in again. Slower ball again. This time it's played down to Cow, and it has split the 2 men who are more or less at Cow for 4 more of these.
1, 2, 3, 4. You know you lift me with your 50.
And that is indeed Phillips, 51 off 39. That's it. That's a good knock so far. In order for it to be a match-winning knock, he really needs to accelerate from here. But if he's in at the end of the innings, you'd say New Zealand will be absolute red hot.
If he's in, given the rate he's scoring at, he'll be in the mid-80s, I would imagine. So we'll be looking at least 140 by then.
Jamaica in again, 4th ball of the over, 4-2-4. This is going very well for New Zealand so far, but he can only get that out to the man in the covers. They come back for a quick way. If the throw had been better, then New Zealand would have been struggling there, but they've managed to come through for 2, in fact. And that's good for New Zealand because it gets Phillips back on strike. And we're seeing various examples of some awful fielding from Sri Lanka, which Jason suggests there might be mitigating circumstances. You can just see some lip sync from Bear, which indicates it probably is just rank fielding. Yes. In comes Jamaica for the 5th ball of the over. Really done him this time, but will it be a wide? Yes, it is. And that's a little unfortunate because he really did. It was slow enough for the guy to take a step outside and belt it.
That's a bit harsh,
I
really.
think it is when it's bowled that slowly and you've done him in the air.
And it span over because it was the sort of leggy out the back of the hand. It was initially inside the line and he missed it. Then it went over the top of the line as it passed the crease.
I think technically it's a wide, but it feels wrong. Jamaica in again, similar ball, but a little fuller. And Phillips has definitely got all of this, and the fielder just chases it to no avail, and it's gone through the deep point for 4 of these. This is horrible over, isn't it? Yeah, it's gone for about 18 or 19 so far. Slightly losing count, but this is exactly what New Zealand wanted at the stage of the innings, but Sri Lanka did not. One ball of it still to go because of the wide.
So far, I think.
17. It's not what the Sri Lanka doctor ordered. Phillips rests his bat on his shoulder, has a good look round the field. Jamaica really throws that one up. Slower than some spinners' delivery, and it does manage to fool Phillips. He can only get it out to the man at wide mid off. They come through for a single, to finish a great over for New Zealand, 94 for 3 at the end.
Well, music seems to be the topic of the day. Cricket Take says, well, you can have a one-off musical episode where every ball is represented by a jingle, including singles and doubles, etc. Jay says, I'm thinking it's safe to say that whatever the lead singer of Skunk Anansi sucked, it wasn't balls. And Ravi says, if he weren't such a great jinglist and the Three Musketeers executioner, Mog would also now be musically dead to me. Skunk Anansi is earthy and ethereal, and Skin is good. Skin is gone.
I remember Skin, and she didn't have any hair, and she had a lot of attitude, but I didn't actually think it was her music, I'm afraid. I'm sure she was a delightful person. She was right on in many, many ways. Now
Mog responds with, put down the crack pipe, Ravi, get into some old school death metal.
Now then, we've got 1 over of our time together, and Mahesh is back on. Mahesh Shan. And we've got a great jingle for him that we did here. Jingles for
It's Hassaranga, not Mahesh.
You're right as well. Not Mahesh Dikshana. He's one into Hassaranga. Is it? I've got Mahesh. Okay. Oh my word! What an extraordinary ball from Hassaranga. It's a round arm delivery. It hasn't worked because it's been hit out to wide of the man at long off for 4 of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
I mean, I get the idea behind it is to have it skid on, but you've got to bowl the right length for that, and that's just too short and too easy to hit.
Well, he must have been presumably spent a week practicing this delivery, but it's like a very slow version of Malinga, isn't it?
I'm sure I've seen it before. It's more like a very slow version of Jadab.
And as Bear would say, he's done something funny with his hands there. It came out slightly oddly out the back of his hand. They've just can only manoeuvre it down for a single to man at longer on. So that Phillips moves on to 63 from 44 meters back on strike. Third ball of the over. Hassaranga. It's a straight arm delivery. He's bowled him.
And
very good.
That's why you get the slingy round arm one earlier in the over, so that one will surprise the batsman later on.
Nice bit of thinking from Hassaranga. Real back of the arm, as Jason's indicated, real back of the arm speciality. But it's a reasonably straight ball, but it's the I guess the top spin perhaps.
It's a part toppy, part googly. It just moves in very slightly, but that's more to do with
just enough.
And Mitchell's gone, but that means that the big man himself is coming to the crease.
This is a critical time in the game. Let's hear the jingle for Jimmy Neesham.
We'll teach him, Jimmy Neesham, unleash him, Jimmy Neesham.
Well, this could go obviously 1-2 ways there. Either Neesham unloads, or if Neesham is out early, Sri Lanka will be really rubbing their hands. So everything to play for over the next 5 or 6 overs. How do you read it, Jace? Where's your money?
He's still got an over or so to play himself in and see the ball before he needs to start going boom. Phillips is going along well enough that he doesn't need to start going straight away from ball one. He can look at 3 or 4 balls before he has a launch.
Yeah. It'd be interesting actually, because Neesham genuinely is the shock and awe player, to see how he plays this. Sweeps it left-handed from in front of him, obviously. First ball. And I think they've just come through for one. Yes, they have. That'll get Phillips back on strike and give Neesham a chance to assess the situation from the non-striker's end. Just seeing the dismissal of Mitchell there. Done in the air, having been set up earlier in the over. As Jason indicated. Okay, back to the live action. Hassaranga in. My feed just skipped. What happened there, Jace?
Punch
Dot-
straight
dot
to
ball.
the man at extra cover, dot ball.
One final ball of Hassaranga over, and Phillips goes deep in his crease to effectively the same ball that bowled Mitchell, and that would have been a run out. In fact, they scooted through for one. Sri Lanka continuing their poor fielding, and they in fact have come back to 2. So Hassaranga ends his 4 overs with 1 for 22. Neesham's on 1 off 1. Phillips is 65 off 46. New Zealand 102 for 4 at the end of the 15th, and you'll have a new commentary team.
Yeah, it's a switcheroo. John's going to give you some commentary. Jack's going to join us for some socials, and I'm back talking nonsense from the side. That was about the only way they were going to get a wicket, wasn't it? Bowled. They weren't going to get it on any other way.
They certainly weren't going to get anybody caught, judging by their antics in the field. But
I think Jason was being too kind with his. It's the outfield, and there's been too much rain. It's just poor fielding.
yeah, I think it's just been rank, frankly.
But they're still in it. 102 for 4. That wicket really does help. Although Glenn Phillips is the man, isn't he, at the moment? If he stays there till the end, he can. He's a strong lad. It's the first time I've actually seen him do anything.
Yeah, I think they're seriously regretting dropping him earlier on. Every single run and every boundary is hurting in that sense. But 102 for 4 could go either way here. 30 balls left for New Zealand to.
If they go 10 and over,
to get around 50.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I got over 145 and a half. At one point it was 134, and I wasn't sure which way it was going to go.
This one is dabbed behind the wicket to the keeper, and they scamper through for a single. Lahiru has come on to bowl. 103 for 4.
They've got plenty of bowling options as well if they want. I mean, I think they've used 6 or possibly 7 bowlers.
Yeah,
6
I
bowlers,
think.
so they've got plenty of options.
Yeah, they can mix it up, but they certainly need their fielders to support them better than they have done. I mean, there's been so many fumbles that have allowed an extra run.
Yeah, they must have lost
All those
5
runs are
or 6.
crucial.
Yeah, exactly. 5 or 6 of those, and as you say, crucial drop catch of Phillips.
Here's Lahiru to Phillips, who's now 65. And Phillips launches this one, but it's well fielded at cover, actually. An exception to the rule. They've scampered through for 1, though. 104 for 4.
I think I don't know. Would they be better off bowling spin? I think it's always harder to hit spin when you first come in, and I'm sure Jimmy Neesham would prefer pace on the ball.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I mean, yes, Sri Lanka needed a wicket, but it brought Neesham in and potentially to be more destructive. So, New Zealand probably weren't that unhappy about that. Here's Lahiru again, and this one is short, and it's flat batted back past the bowler to mid-off, and it's another single.
I think it came off. I think it hit Phillips's bat.
It did, yeah. He sort of flat batted it.
And Lahiru's got 2 left after this, so presumably he's bowling this, bowling through now, unless they want him to bowl the last over.
Yeah, I suppose they still have that option. He actually missed Phillips's bat. He managed to get it out the way.
So he completely mistimed it.
Lahiru. And this is launched down the ground. Has he got enough of it?
Just.
Yes, he has.
Only just. And the fielder was a bit wide. If he hadn't have been, it would have been straight down his throat. But you'd probably dropped it though.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was going to say they're probably not that worried about knocking it up in the air because they're probably figuring that they'd drop it anyway. So, but just had enough legs to clear the boundary straight. 6 more. New Zealand advancing towards a defendable score. Here's Lahiru again, and Phillips plays this one out into the cover area to the sweeper. Throws it back in. It's an easy single. 112 for 4.
I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, the rest of the Kiwi side has managed to score 40 runs.
Yeah.
In 15.5 overs.
Yeah. But Phillips has taken on the responsibility and he's shouldered it well.
Yeah, he has. He has.
You know, I think that's the thing about this New Zealand top order. There is any of them can stand up and be counted and assess the situation. He's done it very well.
Yeah, I think you only need one player as well to get a big score in a T20, and you're
for the rest of bat round.
Yeah, you're
exactly.
competitive.
Here's the hero again. He's in, and this one is swung away on the leg side. Fielder comes in. Again, it's just a single. Neesham goes to 4, 113 for 4 at the end of the over.
11 off that. Over to you, Jackie.
Where did we get to?
I
Was
have
it
no
Jay
idea.
Grover talking about crack?
Yeah.
Mog is the next tweet from about 9 minutes ago, said Messi when he disappeared.
Cool. Well, let's assume that was... this is ridiculous. But we're going to go back to Jay Grover. How odd. I feel like I'm on crack whenever I listen to death metal. Really, really rubbish crack. Morg says, after that, all we need is give Niche a chance.
Oh,
Yeah, that would work. Jay Grover says, I know we have interminable conversations about vaguely left-wing cricketers, R.E. Neesham, but I thought the Australian football team's statement to Qatar were rather impressive. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that. Presumably they said, yeah. What
Yeah,
they
they're
need
not very happy. Let's
to. Oh, really? Well,
let's say that.
what do you bloody expect? You know.
Well, that's unfortunately that's what happens when bungs are made to get World Cups in places where they shouldn't be.
Exactly. I mean,
That's the problem. Let's call it like it is. We all know what happened.
there's potential for mayhem at that World Cup, isn't there? Really.
Of course there is. In comes
That's gonna be a wild.
Mahisi, and that's really wide. He tried to hit it. Neesham tried to hit it, but it was so wide that he couldn't get a bat on it.
No. And see, Mahisha's got 2 overs left as well. They might roll him through as well.
Yeah, he's bowled 2 tiny ones too so far. That was a little ragged, but
he was very good in the last game they played as well.
He's in again, and this is an attempt at a reverse sweep by Neesham, but he misses the ball, goes through to the keeper.
Not
No
a wide
run.
this time.
No wide given, despite the fact that it was in exactly the same place. It's slightly weird, but there we are. Anyway, he's in again, and Neesham advances down the pitch, but can only drive it to the mid-off fielder out towards the fence, and it's just a single, but it gets Phillips back on strike, which is probably the main aim of the game at the moment.
Where are we at the moment with the GPO? 115. There's only a couple of people to be in it. If they get to 150, actually there's a lot of people out. Everyone's expecting a kind of low. Everyone's gone reasonably low here. In the 140s there'll be a lot of people in it.
In again. Here's Phillips. This is in the air. Has he got enough of that?
Oh,
Yes,
geez.
he has. It's gone for 6.
That's a decent hit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's falling away, and that
It
might
looks
be
as
the
if he
short
got it
gun.
off the toe end to me, and
Exactly.
it still went for 6.
Well, there is a 60-metre boundary, and I wonder if that's it. I mean, presumably, people are going to target the shortest part of the ground, and if it's 60 metres and that's it.
He did clear the boundary by quite some distance, actually. Fielder was never really in it.
No, he's a beefy man, is Glenn Phillips.
Yeah, he packs a punch, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In again, and Phillips. Oh, this has
Ooh.
gone straight up in the air.
Oh my word!
Oh, he's still cleared the boundary.
Jesus!
I'm not convinced he got hold of that one either.
No, I'm not either. I think that was a miss hit too.
And it still went for 6.
It's more like the IPL, miss hit 6s.
Yeah, it looked initially as if he just smacked it straight up in the air.
Well, it looked like he didn't have nearly enough on it, didn't it?
He just looked like he got
He hit
too far
86
underneath
metres.
it.
I know, but it didn't look like it.
And it cleared by miles.
Yeah. Strong lad, as I said.
Successive 6s for Phillips, who's threatening to make 100. 85 now, I think.
Well, he's got player of the match if they win, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. This one he just dabs out into, well, between sort of cover and mid-off for a single. But, yeah, taking heavy toll in this over. 86 from 52 now for Phillips. I don't know what he was on when he was dropped, but
He was either on 0 or about 3.
it wasn't many,
No.
that's for sure. And
It's
they are
certainly-
hurting.
Certainly single digits.
This one finds Neesham tickling it down the leg side, and they scamper through for another run. At the end of the 17th, 129 for 4.
Over to you, Jack.
Yeah, it's probably more from Jay Grover, isn't there? Normally is.
Yeah, there normally is. Jay's up and at it.
We'll go back. No, we're still talking about crack there. Cricket Take says a lot of David Hussey and Glenn Phillips batting style. That's it. And then, Messages has linked us to the YouTube video of the Australian football team talking about Qatar.
Australia there, or have they got a pass and they can say this shit anyway because they haven't made it?
No, they're
They're there.
Yeah.
They're there, so they're more than entitled to express their opinion. But yeah,
I'm waiting to see if some football player comes out saying too much, whether they actually try and arrest one of the footy players. Do you think they're mad enough to do that?
Could easily happen, I think.
Do you think? You wouldn't think so, but you never know, do you?
Could happen. Could happen. Stranger things have happened in World Cups. In less controversial places.
True.
Anyway, it's Neesham on strike to Rajita. He's in and Neesham slaps this and he's caught.
They've caught the ball.
Yes.
They've actually caught one. He didn't get hold of it, slapped it straight to cover, and Neesham is out for 5.
We should
129 for 5.
As they caught one, we're going to have this. And funny enough, I don't think it matters. It's Phillips is the one. It doesn't matter if someone else. I mean, they did a good job to not lose another wicket and get into the 12th, 13th over with only 3 wickets down. It gives them a chance to then have a bang again at the end, doesn't it? Neesham hasn't come off, but Glenn Phillips is coming off. As long as he stays, if he stays there for the next 3 overs,
they'll get 170.
Yeah, they get 170, and they were nowhere. I mean, they were about 40 after nearly 10. 9
and 170 will be more than enough.
Yeah, you'd have thought.
That's the thing. You would have thought, yeah.
And especially if Glenn Phillips has done the damage, and having dropped him, I mean, there'll be a lot of people, a lot of guys in the side in the Sri Lanka dressing room, staring daggers at the man who dropped Glenn Phillips when they get off.
Yeah, he's not going to be the most popular chap, is he?
No, he's not.
He might be sent to Coventry.
Right, here we go. This man's in.
Mitchell
Santa baby, get some drift into the pads for me. Been an awful good Kiwi.
Here's Rajita, and that's going to be a wide.
I'm in quickly tonight.
Going to be a wide, I think.
Should be.
Yeah, we're just seeing the wicket again. Neesham just didn't get hold of it at all. And yeah, I think my 81-year-old mother with 2 arthritic knees could have caught that. This is just tabbed out for a single. In fact, I think my granny could probably have caught that, and she's dead. So,
well, place her in the right place in a chair. It'll just pull up there.
Indeed so. 131 for 5. Phillips 86 from 52 balls. Quite some effort.
It's just one tier of the stand that's not got any people in it. I wonder if they closed that off. The rest of the stand looks reasonably full. The Sri Lankan fans are out in force.
Sri Lanka are apparently an over behind the over rate. Here's Rajita again, and this is a slower ball, and it's missed, and Phillips thinks that's a wide, but
no way,
it isn't.
And that was well inside the line. Yeah,
or maybe he's just disgusted with himself that he missed it. I don't know.
I mean, the problem with this there's been a fair few wickets, but right at the beginning of the game, they must have lost 3 or 4 minutes with Kane Williamson farting around, not receiving a ball. I mean, the first 2 overs seem to have taken an inordinately long time for T20.
Here's Rajita again. This is a full toss.
Oh my word!
My word! That's an extraordinary shot. It was a full toss, which was a slower ball than he thought it was going to be. He made an adjustment and he dinked it round on the leg side, and it ran down to the square leg boundary for 4.
I'm looking over
Yeah, he looked like he'd overdone it and he was about to fall over when he hit that, didn't he? He'd gone right across his stumps and he pulled his foot back. His foot seemed to get stuck in the ground.
He did fall over, actually. He nearly kicked the wicket over with his... and it's a no ball as well.
Oh, it's all going horribly. Sri Lanka started this game so well. They've really let themselves down.
Wheels coming off here. And Phillips dinks the free hit away. Fielder comes round, racing back for two. Phillips keeps the strike and moves on to 90.
Well, because it was a free hit, I'm going to try and find the free hit that Mog's on about. I've got 3 here. It's another
no ball.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It's another no ball. Oh my goodness.
So that was free hit 3, and this is free hit 1.
Ranka's discipline has gone altogether now.
That's the one we're going to use.
So here's another free hit. Phillips, it's a slower ball. It's very cleverly bowled, actually. It's a slower ball. Phillips plays the shot about 4 times, misses it altogether, and it trickles through to the keeper on about the 4th bounce.
This has been a really poor performance by Sri Lanka. They had an opportunity in this game to, put a marker down. And
yeah,
they just
making
fucked
a
it up.
of it.
Yeah,
He's in
really
again,
are.
and Phillips has missed this one as well. The last couple of balls have been pretty good. Phillips is so disgusted with himself, he nearly chucks his bat on the floor in fury. He's still got 1 ball left in the over.
It's a good comeback from the bowler, considering he's throwing away 2 free hits.
It's a knuckleball, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's literally bounced through to the keeper. He's just playing the shot too early. He's not happy with himself at all. This is the last ball of the over. He's made contact with this one, and it's actually fielded pretty well at cover, but he scampers through for a single and nicks a strike. 140 for 5 with 2 overs to go.
And there's still 11 off that over, with a hell of a lot of dot balls, but wides and no balls really cost them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, they've just not helped themselves. Too many no balls, too many free hits, too many fumbles, too many drop catches.
Yeah,
just too many.
And still in. I mean, if they bowl a decent couple of overs here, keep them down at 155.
Yeah, they've still got a shout.
It's all kicked off here. Mog says they don't need Neesham to smack it. Phillips keeps this up. Mog says stop being a fucking tweet keeper, Jack. You tweet reasonable tweets that you can read, and I'll read them out. Angelic Scooter says Australia will be there, they just won't be there for long. In fact, Iran might be there for longer. That's the World Cup. Jay Grover says, well, I was going to tell you about my pumpkins, but now I shan't, so there.
This again, that's another extraordinary shot from Phillips. It was a shortish ball. He was falling away from it. Managed to get a cross bat on it. It's gone straight back past the bowler and gone for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's almost got too far away from that.
Yeah, and he's just about managed to toe end it back past the bowler.
But he's toe ended it back past the bowler, and the fielder's nowhere near it. No great surprise there.
Well, if you hit it straight back, that's one of the safest places on the ground, isn't it? Right over the umpire's head. Often the long on, often just that bit too wide.
97 not out, Phillips.
59, that's pretty impressive.
Pretty dynamic, yeah. And he's slapped this one. It's in the air, but it's short of the fielder. They'll be racing back for 2. No, maybe not. No, they've settled for 1.
And there's a lot of times as well that New Zealand could have got away with 2 because the throws in from the boundary have been poor as well.
Been
miles
dreadful.
away
Yeah,
from the stumps.
No accuracy whatsoever.
I guess they're just trying to get rid of it as quick as possible, which does put the player off and come back for 2.
But yeah, pretty ordinary fielding, and that's probably generous. That brings Santner on strike, who's only faced 1 ball since he came in. Here is Mahesh again, and Santner swings this one out towards the cover boundary. I think they'll be coming back for 2 this time. Yep, comfortably back for 2. It was a better throw actually, but they still got back for 2.
Has there been a ton in this tournament so far?
Yeah, Riley Russo got 1, 2.
Russo got 1, didn't he?
Yeah.
For South Africa. No great surprise that he would be the first Centurion scorer. I tell you, he hits the ball absolutely miles.
Yeah, he's a strong lad.
Here's Mahesh again, and that's a full toss, and he doesn't get hold of it at all. Santner, it trickles out on the leg side, and they take 148 for 5.
Well, I was wondering whether I was going to get over 145.5 at one point. It was looking a bit dodgy, but they've made it with ease.
Yeah, indeed.
8 balls left, another 20 runs off 8 balls, which is perfectly doable. They're up nearly at 170.
Phillips swings this away. That's going for 4. That's going to be his 100.
That is quality batting. Shit
That's
ball
a
again.
fabulous 100.
2 + 2 is our man.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
That a laugh.
Congratulations, sir.
Helmet
You are
off.
A centurion.
Huge roar. He's really enjoyed that, and so he should. It's been a magnificent innings. That.
Well, on a sliding door,
Beautifully paced.
on a sliding doors day, they've been out for 5.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, if you get dropped early in your innings,
Got to make it count.
make them pay. That's what you
Absolutely.
do, and he's absolutely done that. Fair play to him. 102 off 61 balls. Here's Mahesh again, and he swings this one away into the deep. I think, yeah, he's just going to take 1 because he's going to keep the strike for the final over. 153 for 5, 6 balls to come.
Yeah.
A few more tweets of people shouting at each other. Pyropashra says the wallpaper is distracting me. Is it giraffes or something? Yes, animals.
It looks like you're in a kid's bedroom.
It does appear, doesn't it? Yeah. Mog says, not those ones, either bear. I emailed it a couple of days ago. 3 hit, 4 or 5. I can't. He's done it in with eyes. Should have just written the number. It's 4 or 5.
Ah, right, yes, okay. I have, let's have a look what we got here. I've got dot balls are golden. Another
Mog
David
also
Warner.
says, reasonable tweets, is this your first day on the job, boy? Colin Rosenthal says, so it's Saturday and we only get 1 match and no attempt to reschedule the 2 rained off matches from yesterday. This tournament is a bit of a shit show, to be honest. Well, that's not ideal, is it? Jay Grove says, Jack has to be a tweet keeper. He gets easily confused. Twat probably did a literature degree or something.
Ooh.
I think Jay might just be afraid of people who know more stuff than him. Yeah.
We're going to have a row here.
Play nicely, gentlemen.
Exactly.
Play nicely. Start of the last over. Here we go. It's Lahiru, and that actually beats the bat. But it's been signalled a wide. He didn't get away with it. He's trying to bowl wide of off stump, outside of Phillips's arc, but unfortunately it's a wide and another extra ball.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I don't know how many no balls and wides there's been, but there's been quite a lot.
We got a jingle for a beamer here. I didn't even realise we had that.
Here's Lahiru again into Phillips, and he swings at this, doesn't get hold of it at all, and it's just a single out on the offside.
We have had 3 no balls and only 5 wides. That can't be right.
Wow, I'm surprised about that. There seem to be a lot more. There we are. 156 for 5. 155 for 5. With 5 balls left.
They've really thrown this away, Sri Lanka, haven't they?
Sandra,
Even at the halfway stage, they were in good shape.
Sandra on strike. Yeah, they were only about a run a ball, I think, at halfway.
They weren't even that. They were about 40 odd at halfway.
Dear me. Here's Lahiru again. It's in, and Santner tries to flat this over the top, and he's got it all the way, I think. Yeah,
That's
it's
a
gone all the way for
fantastic
6.
shot. That is a fantastic shot.
It is a fantastic shot. Because I think the bowler tried to follow him, and he's literally
That must be the short boundary because he's
cut it over the short boundary for 6.
Yeah, he's not the quickest, but he's just used the pace and he's got it right
He
out
tried
of
to cramp him.
Yeah, 65 metres 6, so that is the short boundary. He's got to come out the middle of the bat though. Maybe he's timed it nicely.
Yeah, he did very well with that, considering he's not faced very many balls at all. Here's Lahiro again, into Santner, who has another big yahoo at that, doesn't get hold of it properly at all. I think he possibly even hits it into his own foot, and it goes out onto the leg side, and only just a single, but that gets Phillips on strike for the last 3 balls.
Glenn Phillips has got a sprinter's stance at the bowler's end, so he can get off quickly.
While making sure he doesn't get man-cadded.
Yes.
Yeah, very clever. 3 balls to come. How many can Phillips make from them? That's the question.
18.
Well, possibly.
No.
Yeah. Here's Lahiro again. Phillips has smacked this up in the air. This might be out. Should be out.
Yay!
Yes,
Should have done that earlier, you fucking muppet. Anyway.
He's finally gone. A magnificent 104 from 64 balls for Phillips, which has potentially won this game, you would think.
You'd think, and you know the rest of the side has managed 58.
You know, somebody for Sri Lanka is going to have to bat very well to win this game.
Well,
very well batted, sir.
Someone like Kusal Mendes is capable of it, as long as he doesn't get out. You know, he hasn't had an innings yet. Note in the tournament.
Would you? Oh, they've sent Sodhi in. I would have expected to see Southey, bearing in mind there's only 2 balls to come and he can hit the ball a long way.
Yeah, and they don't change ends. Maybe Sodhi can too. They don't change ends, obviously, because of the new law.
No,
change.
because you don't anymore.
No, it's just good. I like that.
No, I think that's a good rule. I think you have to give the bowler some advantages in this format.
Yeah, certainly do.
There's a lot of levelling up that needs to be done. Where have I heard that before?
Yeah. It ain't happening.
Hey ho. So, Sodhi, 2 balls to come. Here's Lahiro. Sodhi swings it away into the leg side. There's another fumble, which means they'll try and sprint back for 2. It's close.
That's out.
Nah, safe.
You think?
Yeah, I think that's in.
I think
There's
he
no
was well
way
short.
that Sri Lanka have just run somebody out.
Yeah, I think you're blindsided there, Jack. I think he was a long way out. He was a good yard and a half short.
Well, he thinks he's out because he's walking off. He thinks he's out because he's walking off.
Yeah, he's so short. It's ridiculous.
Nah, something went wrong.
Yep, he's well out. Well out.
He's not the quickest, clearly, is this Shodhi.
No.
So that's a run out.
That was Shodhi from Sodhi. So only 1 run counted there.
Rabbit, run. You dug a hole too deep, I won. Leave because you're done. Look around while walking off the ground.
Oh, I like that.
Surely that should be 163 for 7 on the grounds that they ran 1.
Yeah,
I believe
and then
you're
he was
right.
run out.
I do as well. Surely the run that you complete
Surely
counts.
we're a run. Yes, we were a run short. It's now been adjusted. Here's the final ball, which is dinked into the leg side. It's gone for 4. Well, that's probably why they should have sent in Southey with 2 balls to go.
Well,
But there you go. It's gone for 4. Actually, it was Santner because, of course, they.
No, it wasn't Santner. It was.
No,
Southey.
it wasn't. It was Southey, wasn't it? Because they'd come back for 2 and he was run out. So that should be Southey 4, Santner 11. They finished on 167 for 7. Lahiro 1 for 37 from 3 overs. Sri Lanka will need 168 to win.
Which I think is probably right.
Too many.
Yeah, it's too many. I mean, if they do it, it's right at the top end of what you think they're capable of. But, you know, teams have surprised us. Look, New Zealand were shit apart from Graham Phillips. It only takes one person to have a blinder, doesn't it? And
well, having said that, Bear, I mean, yes, Mitchell only got a run a ball, but he probably did the sensible thing on getting Phillips on strike as often as possible.
Well, yeah,
because quite often in those situations you see 2 guys trying to smack it into next week, and
Only one of them's getting away with it.
Exactly.
And the other one's mistiming everything. I mean, no, that's true. I agree, but I mean, it still only does take one man to, have that kind of innings, and you've got the score, which they have. I mean, he scored at nearly 150.
But whoever that one man is, he's going to have to produce something extraordinary, bearing in mind what we saw from Phillips, is he not?
Yes, that or two of them doing half extraordinary.
Yeah.
Which is also possible. I mean, look, they can get themselves into the game and ahead of the rate if they don't have a hideous power play like the Kiwis. I mean, what are the Kiwis? They're about 20 odd for 3 or
29 for 3, I think they were.
Yeah, at the end of the power play. So, if Sri Lanka can get off to a start and be 50 odd for 1, then there's a game on, one would think.
Yeah, and we've been surprised before in this World Cup, so
yeah, exactly.
We shouldn't write Sri Lanka off.
Indeed. Any last tweets? Then we're going to go. We've got something special lined up. Well, I don't know how much time we'll get to play for it. But Anindo spoke to Lalchan Rajput, who he's spoken to before, but he's the technical director of Zimbabwe cricket, and he spoke to him after the victory against Pakistan. It's a quick interview, which we'll have through the break after some last tweets from Jack.
Leah says, I am afraid of people that know more than me. Luckily, there are not many of those around. Mog says, I'd have hoped you'd learn your lesson writing Zimbabwe off the other day, but there you were, digging New Zealand's grave only a few overs ago. And Jay Grover says, everyone knows more stuff than me. That's why I like asking questions.
Yeah. Well, New Zealand were 54 for 3 after 10 overs. There you go. That was some messages. So how many did they get? 167. So double that is what? 2, 3, 3, 4. At the top end, there's not many people in it. 3, 3, 4. Well, of course, Messages has 3, 3, 3. So if it's a win for Sri Lanka by 1 run, he will have lost.
If it's a win for New Zealand by 1 run.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
He will collect.
Yeah.
Anybody got 335?
No. The next one is 365 and 366. They're out of it.
So they're out.
3-2. Well, all the ones, presuming we're all presuming Sri Lanka lose, so everyone under that is probably in with a shout. Because it goes up.
Well, it sounds like the GPL needs Sri Lanka to lose.
Well, it does. It very much does. Right, let's put on a bit of Lalchan, bigging it up after Zimbabwe's win. We'll see you
later
when we're back.
Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Guerrilla Cricket.
So Lalchan Rajput, welcome to this chat with Guerrilla Cricket and with the Outside Insights from Two Roads. So delighted to have you here. You must be one hell of a happy man today.
I think it gives a satisfaction because I have worked with this team for last 4 years. I have gone through a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of struggles. There were a lot of hiccups in between, but still we managed to get where we are. And I'm really, really happy that now the whole world knows that Zimbabwe can compete against the best teams.
Absolutely. In 1983, I think Kapil Dev's India already knew that. But somewhere in between later on, that sort of fell off the radar, I think, in this millennium. But it was amazing to see them perform over the past few weeks. Yesterday, I mean, defending a total of 130 on a ground that big, it was just remarkable. I mean, and Sikandar Raza, what can you say about the purple patch he's in? I mean, when he doesn't perform with the bat, he performs with the ball.
Yeah, see, it's good to see that the senior players, because I had one thing in common that, I used to tell the team, the senior players have to make sure that they perform and take the team forward. Because I had introduced a lot of youngsters, like there were 5 youngsters into the team, like Wesley Medera, Milton Shumba, then Innocent Kaya, then the fast bowler yesterday who played Garawa, he's only 21, 22. Then there was one left-arm spinner, Masakadza. So there were a lot of youngsters coming in. So there were only 4 seniors, say like Craig Irwin, Sean Williams, Sikandar Raza, and Chatara. And Regis Chakaba, he was on. So the main onus was that these senior players have to take the team forward. So I had put that thing that they have to perform. Every third game, one guy has to raise his hand. They have to make sure that the youngsters revolve around them. 2-3 years we could not do that, but there was a process which went through it. But now I'm really happy that that process has come through, and players have started performing. They are believing in themselves. And if you look at this, now the whole world knows that yes, Zimbabwe can compete against the better teams. I was really happy that yesterday we won. But if you look at a year back, we had played Pakistan at home as well in T20s. In that also we could have won the series. First game Pakistan won, second game we won, and the decider third game we got them to 167 or something, and we were chasing. We were 105 for 2 in 10 overs.
Wow.
And it was an easy game, but that we could not win it because we lost by 10 or 15 runs. So
even the one you won, I remember it was a very low scoring match. You must have scored 118, 128, something like that, I vaguely recall.
128, right? And they were all out for 100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that, it reminded me of that yesterday when they scored 130.
Yeah. So we said that we can beat these teams. It's only the mindset and the confidence that you have to show it on the ground. So I think we've taken that forward. Then the last couple of months we were really well, because once we qualified, I think the motivational level and the confidence level really increased. And that's what happened, because you got to get through that momentum. And everyone is seeing now that in the World Cup, I think we are playing excellent cricket. It's good for Zimbabwe and for world cricket as well, because teams would not like to play us earlier. Because they said, no, Zimbabwe, but now we have made it a point that no, teams would like to play us now because we are very competitive.
Exactly. And Raza made a very interesting point yesterday at the press conference, where he basically said that, look, because I mean, of course, people were asking about semi-finals and all that, and this was your word coming through. I could hear it where he said we'll go match by match. So we are only thinking about the Bangladesh match. But he said what I'm happy about is in both the groups, there is us here, there is Ireland in the other group. We have thrown both the groups open. So I think it's a big thing for world cricket when something like that happens. And going back a couple of years, I remember 2 years ago, you had mentioned to me that your sole priority with the Zimbabwe team was to get to the World Cup Super 12. I think that was very clear. Not only qualify, but get to the Super 12. And that's there. And you went through horrible odds. I also just before I let you go, I recall something very interesting where we spoke during just before COVID, I think, or during COVID, and where you mentioned that Zimbabwe was just still suspended by the ICSC at that point in time, and you mentioned in 2020, and you mentioned that you had been bringing back cricket balls from Bombay because there was not enough practice balls because there was no money for the board, and that's where it's come from. People should know that.
Yeah, see, it was a really difficult time when I joined, and then there were a lot of problems in the board. Then the board was suspended by the ICC. The funding was not coming, but we had to practice. So we went through a lot of rough time. So I used to get some balls from India. Then you won't believe we never had even fruits to at practice. We never had Bisleri water for practice. So we used to really ration it. And then the players were so keen that so we have to practice. So we went through all those things. The players became mentally tough as well, because it creates an environment that even there is nothing there, but still you wanted to practice and prove the world that we are good enough. Then we did something for the domestic cricket as well, because earlier there were no sponsors, there were only few teams. Then we said that 4 teams will not do, more and more players should play, so that we get more players to choose from. So we added one more team.
And you did scouting among the club teams, I still recall, because there were not enough talent coming through, right?
Yeah. So then I used to watch all the matches, like the local games. And then that's where I found Richard Garawa, left-arm fast bowler. He had not played any game,
And we are back. Hello, Ajit. How are you?
Hi, Bear. I'm doing good. Hello to all the listeners of Kerala Cricket.
Did you see that first innings?
Yes, I followed most of it, half of it on Kerala Cricket, the first 10 overs. The next half, I was cooking. So yes, I mean, what was Sri Lanka doing? I wonder on the field.
What, they were terrible in the field, weren't they? They really threw that away. It's a bit depressing, really. But as Forty said earlier, you know, the best thing for England is actually if if New Zealand win. I do like an upset, but if New Zealand win, it's probably better for England. Because then if we beat them, we'd actually leapfrog them as well, wouldn't we? Well, it depends. They've probably got very good run rate still, haven't they? But they had a 1 point rain off too. It's getting interesting.
I wouldn't write Sri Lanka off though. I mean, looking at the target, they've done well in the league stages. After that first game loss, their openers are in reasonably good form, I would say. Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. Well, Southey's going to bowl the first ball, and he's bowling to, I don't know, because I haven't seen the scorecard. Patton. Nissanka Patton. Right, let's give some jingles. We have this man facing first.
And this car should drive very smoothly.
And this man facing.
It's only a whim.
Bowling even.
To fly with Tim Southey to tonight. I probably won't fly with Tim Southey.
Don't know how many runs Nissanka has to make before he makes up for that drop.
Was it him who dropped the catch? Well, he missed the second ball as well.
Point.
He's gone through to the keeper. Well, he's going to make 100 about 100. I mean, when did he drop him?
Yeah, about 100.
I think he dropped him on
then
three.
Then he'll be in credit.
3, I think he was dropped.
It was about 3, yeah.
Well, if he does it, Sri Lanka probably win, don't they? Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's true.
And he becomes a hero.
I just asked me why I'm Tamsin. That's because I'm on my wife's machine.
Yeah.
All right.
Southey worked into the leg side. There's no single there. And, I think it's Jimmy Neesham comes in and fields.
I think it's the second of these games where, you know, a team that had 50 or 60, less than 60 in the halfway mark, has come and successfully made it to a total of more than 160. So, you know, or close to 160. It's going to be quite a challenge. But as I said, I wouldn't write Sri Lanka off, simply because it's a different innings altogether. New Zealand will probably be not as bad on the field as Sri Lanka were.
Yes,
but,
but that's the thing, isn't it? They're not going to drop. You wouldn't think they're going to drop catches that easy. That one is hit square this time by Patton. Can't beat the fielder once again. Martin Guptill's on the field, presumably for somebody. Don't know who. And there is no run.
What I see is on this pitch, right? If you bowl the back of length, the test match length as it's called, I think it's a bit tough to get away. I think Kasun Rajitha showed it with the new ball, and even when he came back, two balls in his last over, they were back of the length, and then somehow he started bowling fuller, and well, Phillips was waiting for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think they should have bowled more the spinners. They should have bowled probably the spinners. That's got to be out. Yeah, it is. Big heave into left side. Well, Nissanka has failed to get his 103-4 runs or whatever. In fact, he's got none. Because he had a big oik across the line on the 5th ball of the first innings. If he hasn't got any bat on that, it's as plum can be. And Kusal Mendes has told him so. And he said, look, you've had a shit game, mate. Get off the fucking field. Jesus Christ.
I don't think he told all that, but
no.
The body language did look like he was telling him, no, that looks plump.
Yeah, exactly. Let's give him this.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
I have a lot of time for Saudi, you know, the way he bowls with the new ball. He's Bhuvneshwar Kumar a little bit more evolved, I think.
Yeah, he's one of these old school bowlers who's good at the top, less so at the bottom, I think, these days.
I mean, I remember a few years ago, RCB desperately trying to make him a death overs bowler in T20s. And we remember how that season went. But
he's not quick enough, and he doesn't quite have enough variations. Yeah, he is, but as you say, he's good at the top of the order with a new ball. I think that's kind of why England go with Wokes, isn't it? Same sort of deal in T20.
Wokes bowls a bit faster than him, and I would give Wokes a bit more credit at the death as well.
He was shit the other day against the Irish for 42
in
3 overs.
It might well be the reason they're not going to qualify after that opening performance. I'd say. I like Wokes. But
important cog, the Sri Lankan top order coming in.
His first ball is defended into the onside, and there's no run. It is this man.
Here he is 1,000,000 miles from home. Says I won't let the pace attack cut through me. They need some more runs. Who could score some tons? De Silva maybe.
Very nice.
Presumably at the other end bowling will be.
How does he speak, or play the horn, or clean his teeth, or even yawn? How does he shout? How does he call? Trent Bolt's mouth is really small.
Presumably it will be him. And he will be bowling at, though. God, it's jingle heavy at the top of the day, isn't it? This one.
Absolutely. I mean, look, one of our regular contributors seems to have told us.
Mendes was a man who thought he was a keeper, so they played him as a number 3. 'Cause that's where the selectors for.
Great jingle. Cut hard by Kusal Mendes. He is a man who can do this. And it will be cut behind square for the first of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Was it Kusal who won that test match in South Africa?
No, it was the other guy. It'll come to me. He's the keeper as well. He's the lefty.
Okay. He drops that one into the offside and there's no run. As it goes out to cover, fielded by Santner. Okay. I always get confused who it was.
I mean, it'll stay with me forever. That innings, probably the best test match innings I've witnessed live.
He got
Even
like
very close to
160, didn't he, or something stupid?
No, 126 or something. But it was again lot of runs with the tail, if I'm not wrong. It was just eclipses Lakshman's effort at Kolkata. I was lucky enough to see it live. I mean, on TV, that is.
But does it eclipse Ben Stokes against the Aussies? Oh, flashed that, gone, edge through to the keeper. Kusal Mendes isn't going to do it. Bolt gets a wicket. It's all going horribly wrong. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. They're doing worse than the Kiwis were. A little bit of a cross seam, went across Kusal Mendes, didn't come back, stretched too far, his foot's just gone out in the line of off stump, he's flown well away from his body. It's the way you play in T20, drives it, gets a thin edge through to the keeper, and they're 4 for 2, Sri Lanka. Not looking good, boys, not looking good.
Not at all. One scoring hit, 8 balls. And it was Kushal Perera, by the way. That was keeper Kushal Perera.
I see, it was a K, it was a Kushal.
It was Kushal, so you were not wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Coming back to this game, right? I think a lot rides on Dhananjaya now, because look, he's like very maverick. He's very much like Glenn Maxwell for me. Right arm off spinner, a very maverick player with the bat, and he can really do something miraculous on his day. He's done it multiple times in the 3rd and 4th innings of tests, right? Now Sri Lanka need him to come through, and Charit has been in good form. So that's the new player.
Yeah, but yeah, true. I mean, it is true. It's not the end of the world, but it's not the start you want, is it? Is it Charith Hassaranga?
Most definitely not. I mean, this is the most disastrous of starts. Considering, if they were chasing 130, it's different. Now it's 168.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because they dropped the man. Bolt in, off the gloves, square on the leg side. Good fielding by the Kiwis, but they get through for a single.
Charit's coming out, ooh. Charit's coming out, ooh.
Yeah. Unexpected usage of without you, but all right.
It's hard to see Cherith pulling this off. He's not even a major hitter. He's got a strike rate of 119. And
oh no, they have hitters to come, all right. They have a couple of good hitters. It's about, can they stabilize? Can they get to, let's say, 65 for 2?
Off 10 and then hope to get through on the end. Yeah, much like the Kiwis did, really. That one is a slower ball, cuts Dhananjaya in half, goes through the keeper and there's no run. I mean, this is it. I mean, the Kiwis, what they did do is they, if that catch had been held, it would have been a completely different game. But they got through to the 12th, 13th over without losing another wicket, having got 3 down, just scraped through the power play. And then suddenly you've only got 7 overs left and you've still got 7 in the hutch. And then you can start banging, can't you? Bolt in. Oh, but he's chopped on. Dhananjaya De Silva is not going to do it today. This is a horror show for the Sri Lankans. And this, if this goes the way it's going, he's only going to have a run rate of about 10. Dhananjaya De Silva was chopped onto his stumps. It's all going horribly wrong for Sri Lanka.
Fuck off! Just fuck off! On your point, mate.
I mean, they're only in the third over. Second over. That's the end of the second over. They're 5 for 3.
Well, there's been a couple of tweets. Yeah, Warren, who says morning all, and Leah says yes, it was Kusal Pereira, and agreeing with you, Edgy, that was the best Test innings I ever saw. But other than that,
well, you might have seen.
Nah, it's slightly above Mr. Stokes simply because it was away in completely foreign.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair
just
enough.
that, nothing else.
Yeah.
But Stokes was equally good. That's number 3 on my list anyway. But yeah.
Number 3. Oh, who you got? Number 2.
Who's number 2?
VVS Lakshman.
Lakshman. Okay, fair enough.
Was that against Australia?
Yes. Followed on and won.
Yeah. He got 220.
The only other, yeah. He got 200 and Travi got 100. Yeah, and heading the 81 and where was that Calcutta?
Something like this. Yes, it was India's heading lead. 81.
Yes, exactly right. The only thing I will say, and it's just a much good performance, and Rajapax is in at 5, but no doubt we're jingling him up. They have been sent all over Australia on a plane, Perth to Hobart to Melbourne. They're going up to Brisbane, and they've complained about it, but they would not do this to India on the scheduling. I'm pretty sure about that.
There's definitely something there. Southee is in to Cherry, who just knocks it down up towards mid-off, and there ain't no run. Do you think that's the bum lot of the qualifying team?
Yeah, it is, and it's like everything's stacked against you when you're the rich gets richer and the poor get poorer, and a schedule like that is part of it.
No, I think isn't that more? I mean, have Bangladesh got that sort of thing, or have they been based somewhere where they've got a lot of games? I think maybe it's because you're the qualifier, you come through and you just get.
I think it was that mainly.
And you
had to play in the northern territory.
You got to get yourself high in the rankings to not have to qualify. So that's the way it goes. You knew that situation when you came into it. Defended in the offside and there's no run.
Yeah, they have this complex arrangement in Australian sport that takes quite a lot of getting your head round when they come to finals. That if you finish 8th, yes, you do get through to the finals competition, but everything's stacked against you. You play away, you have to win all your matches. Whereas if you finish first, you can lose one match and play all of them at home. So they have a highly complex system that all Australians seem to understand instinctively. That takes ages to get your head round.
Slower ball from Southee around the wicket, 3 dots in a row. Oh, now we did get a. Under the new free hit that we got a dot ball jingle from Mog. Where have I put it? I can't remember where I put it.
Well done,
It wasn't in there. Extras, wasn't it? Yeah. Dot balls are golden. I don't know why I put it in extras, but I did. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, something like that. Southee around the wicket into the pads. Banuka, who throws it in the leg side. Shit, he would have been run out by a mile with a Charith. It would have been a direct hit from Jimmy Neesham. They set off for a single. He hit straight to the player. He was nowhere in the frame when it got to be thrown at the wicket. He'd given up. Basically, he'd given up because he was about 5. He wasn't even in the frame on the TV when he picked up the ball. And if it had hit the stumps, it'd have been out by a good 3 or 4 yards. But Jimmy Neesham missed the stumps. Could that be the drop catch moment?
Well, very well could be. The Banuka is a big boned lad. I think he's not fond of diving around. I mean, it was very clear if it was hit, he was out. It was
almost a case for a Johnny Rhodes sprint to the wicket there, wasn't there? And not even to throw it. He was so far out of his ground.
Fair enough. But I would say as long as this guy is at the crease, Banuka, I wouldn't write Sri Lanka's chances off yet. I mean, again, a good 6th over total would be something like 30, and then from there they build on.
Will be now. Ooh, that one's whipped past the outside edge of Banuka through to the keeper, and there's no run. You think if they lose another wicket now, that all crumbles, doesn't it? very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if another one falls now, I dare say they won't get to 100.
No. And then exactly the Kiwis' net run rate will just keep on zooming up. Well, that's 4.5, isn't it, after 2 games? If they do this lot by 100, it's up to 9.
There is another game within the game, or a tournament within a tournament here. Whoever finishes in the top 4 in each group will automatically qualify for the next World Cup. Something else going on as well. Then.
Okay. Driven square by Banuka. Last ball of the over goes out to a point. There's no run. Only 1 run off the over. 6 for 3 after 3 overs. Horror show for Sri Lanka starting out. And they started the first 10 overs of this game. They did so well. The next 13 have gone horribly wrong.
Well, we've just got one tweet, which is Jay, and it's just 2 words long. Oh, blimey! Could be referring to all sorts of things. I think he's probably referring to the start of the Sri Lankan innings. But that just about sums it up. Thanks very much, Jay.
But also, there is this very well-known, well-recognized fact, so to say, that if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you'll not win the game.
Yeah.
They lost 3 wickets in the first 2 overs. I
well,
wonder what that means.
Weirdly, but how does that apply when you're batting first? Because that's exactly what the Kiwis did as well. And then they had Glenn Phillips.
That's a good one. So it's a battle of who's recovering better. But I think it still holds even if you bat first. But in this case, well, both teams. So that's a good one.
I think it counts less if it's in the first innings. As that's pulled. Oh, square. There's no one out there at deep mid wicket. He's round at long leg. He's showed he can't be asked to run round. They should have come back for 3, but I don't think they did. I think they only came back for 2. They should have run that harder, one feels. There was no one out in the deep. They did just run 2.
I think they're a bit shell-shocked.
I think they are a bit shell-shocked.
No, but it's okay. They can take an over to breathe and maybe slowly build from there. But as I said, now even 30 is too much to probably ask at the 6th over mark, maybe 28, 27, something like this. I mean, my question to you anyway is, what is this prototype of the player like Phillips?
Chipped into the leg side, no run to mid-wicket. Sorry, say that again?
Where does New Zealand produce this prototype? He's a prototype he's like Brendan McCullum. Short, squat, really strong. Bats in the middle order, hits the ball really long. Where do you get this guy? How do you get this prototype?
Well, I imagine there's quite a few around, I mean, they have a lot smaller pool to pick from. Probably came up through the ranks, maybe a very good club player, then you get a first-class contract, which, from what I can gather in New Zealand, isn't particularly organised. That's out. He's fucking driven it, Charith, straight to backward point. Trent Bolt's got a wicket. It was a little bit outside edgy. I mean, it was hit reasonably firmly, and it went reasonably low, but it was always just above the ground, obviously, because he was caught. But, yeah. Charith is out, and the 4th wicket does go down, and you wonder what will happen now.
Well, I mean, now it's a bridge too far already.
Yeah. And maybe it's in the genes, the squatness.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
if you're squat. I mean, that's kind of my view, right? So you're squat, you've got a barrel chest, so it's all there, and you can swing hard enough and get the timing right.
I mean, if you walk along the banks of the Clyde, you'd probly see a fair few Glaswegians.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's probably the Scottish heritage.
Yeah, probably.
All those taking care of the sheep, probably all those generations as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the time, or bending
strong upper halves.
Yeah. No, I'm saying the adventurousness, the complete lack of fear.
I think that might be a Kiwi. That might be a Kiwi trait. I mean, you're on an island in the middle of fucking nowhere.
It's completely new and it's wonderful. I mean, it's so refreshing. He's reinvented himself as like an all-rounder who bowls off-spin as well. He's a keeper. He started his, so to say, international career potentially as a keeper who can bat. Then now he can bowl some useful off-spin.
I mean, I'd heard a lot about Glenn Phillips. I'd never seen. I got picked up in the IPL, saw a bash, couple of sixes, get out. I haven't really seen him do much, and that showed it today. I mean, some of that strength was outrageous. Who's the new batsman then?
Chamika Karunaratne has been promoted.
Oh, there's another Chamika. There's 2 in a row. No, it was Charith, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Janet. You know what humbleness is worth when Jamaica inherently earth.
Of course, Hassaranga can give it a biff as well.
Indeed. I think this is an adventurous move. They're trying to probably counter the bowling by going after the bowling a little bit. Chavika can sort of stabilize, but he can use a long handle pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can't really go like that now, can you? I mean, when you're 4 down in the 4th over, it just stultifies the innings. Round the wicket comes Bolt, slower ball. Well, it wasn't slower actually, but it skidded on, didn't get off the ground, and cut the bounces through to the keeper after beating the outside edge, and there's no run.
It's quite funny when we used to have, all 3 of our offices used to get together, the Sydney office, Melbourne office and the Auckland office. Sydney and Melbourne, very loud, always drinking, all of that kind of thing. New Zealand, very quiet, didn't put their head over the parapet, very modest. They had the best agency by far. You wouldn't know it, they were the most modest ones.
Short from run. That could have been a run out as well. Bloody hell. Short from Trent Bolt. Really tucked up Jamaica, who managed to get it down into the ground on the leg side. Started running. Banuka was having nothing of it. He hadn't even left the crease. Jamaica had to scuttle back. There was an underarm throw at the stumps. If it had hit, he'd have been out, I think. But it didn't, and so he wasn't. I've weirdly gone over for the fall of the next wicket at 22.5. Because 14 just seems too stupidly short. But they are 8 for 4.
We've got a few tweets. Mob, they better fucking scrape up exactly 92 runs. Josie O, the remaining matches look like they favour Australia rather than England, with Australia playing Ireland, Afghanistan, and England, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka. Well, that is true, but if England beat those 2 teams and Sri Lanka looks so gone, you can see that they won't, that England-New Zealand match is looking like it's going to be huge. Bessie Jez 56 will do me. Tony Bishop, the boys are back in town. GC Radio, Naked Football 40 is still fiddling with his wife's laptop. Click here. And Mog, rank greed.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, as Lockie Ferguson is coming in. Shit, I forgot about him. Should have gone under in after all, shouldn't I? Anyway, his first ball is attempted uppercut by Banuka and misses it, goes through the keeper, and there's no run. We shall give him a jingle that sounds like. Not here. There it is.
A piece of violent dates. He's moving. See him aiming at your head.
It's coming around the wicket to Banuka, who defends that out to the covers, and there's no run. Like there isn't a game to win. My thing is, I think some of the bigger teams, the banana skin factor can play into when you play the likes of Ireland and Afghanistan. I mean, England could have really gone for it the other day, but to a certain degree it was a bit of safety. They bowled bad against Ireland, should have won. I mean, I think they probably, if Moen had stayed there and the rain hadn't come, I think England probably would have got across the line.
Maybe not.
That's a good shot. Was that 6? It was pretty flat. It went over point. It hit bloody hard.
I think it may have been 1 bounce 4. But this is a potential.
Yeah, it might be 6.
Oh wow. Okay. This is a potential marquee contest actually. A big hitter versus a really, really fast bowler. Under different circumstances, it could have been very nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's 6.
It is 6. That's an astonishing shot. It's a genuine one of these.
Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air. Legs move it side to side. Smack it in the air. Smack it.
Oh, I guess that's what you get. You get extra pace. Well, he's gone over the top. That's a great shot. Over the top of extra cover. Out to the boundary.
Then he got above head height.
Yeah.
Then he got above head height.
Listen and you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary. Crossing a boundary.
Left arm at
those 2 shots, right? It reminds me very much of Sanath Jayasuriya at the top of the order for Sri Lanka. Huge, wrists and huge forearms.
Yeah.
This is a more classical shot, the boundary, but the 6 was all Jayasuriya. Just slash on the up.
Yeah.
At a pacey ball, all just forearms.
Ferguson around the wicket. That's a better ball. But it's chopped down to third man. And will be a single. 19 for 4. Well, that's helped their cause. 11 off the over. I suppose, the other thing is it does only take 1 man, as we saw with New Zealand, to get them across the line. to get a bit. If someone gets a ton from here, it will be an incredible match. Put it that way. We're off after a ball.
Now?
Fourth, he's going to take over from me.
Yep, I'll stay on.
And Messi's going to jump in for Ajit. Other
See you
things
guys
are not
later.
changing. See you later. Down leg side, that will be a wide, one presumes.
Thanks, Ajit.
I'm not sure this guy looks like a. I'm not sure this guy actually looks like a wide batsman. he looks a bit scared of the pace. Messi, you can jump on a ball early if you like, because Ajit's just scooted off. There you go.
Okay, this is a bit of a shit show, isn't it?
It is a bit of a shit show, isn't it? And mind you, we said this about the Zimbabwe game the other day, didn't we? So it was only a good bear game about halfway through, and then suddenly it all changed.
Yeah.
Ferguson in, defended. Ooh, up to mid on, a bit of a shaky one there. If I get this bet over 22.5, I might go for a run out again.
Well, it keeps the excitement factor up. For
Yeah, it does.
Doing it on our behalf, Bear.
Well,
okay. So a little switch in the studio. I'm going to take over by ball. What I'm going to do, Bear, is going to give it a red hot go on the feed. Every so often there'll be a ball, and I won't know what the fuck's going on, so I will consult you.
That's fine.
And Messi is taking over on socials, so it's a bit pointless asking you how you see it from here. I think it can only be one result, can't there?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'd think so, but not necessarily.
Just seeing the fastest bowlers in this World Cup.
Doing it for the home team.
Here, then Ferguson, then Harris Raff, and Nazim Shah all over a 148 top 4 over 150.
Well, I'm going to. Yeah.
Woody's
It'll be
fastest
interesting to
at
see tomorrow.
It's Bolt in again, this time to Banuka, who just plays it off the back foot. It's hard to know what Sri Lanka's strategy is from here when you're 20 for 4 at the end of the 5th over. That's a dot ball.
I think you've literally got to go another 9 overs without losing a wicket.
Yeah. And then have one almighty charge at the end.
And then have
as well.
one almighty charge at the end, yeah. Basically,
Yes.
that's the only strategy, I think.
Well, the Sri Lankans of 25 years ago, you would have thought they were as capable of a slightly different team these days. In comes Trent Bolt, and that's played down to the third man area. We'll see whether they've come back for 1 or 2, probably 1. Yes, just the 1. So that moves the score very gradually up to 21 for 4 in the 6th over.
Yeah.
Well, we're not seeing the crazy run fests that you often get in T20s in this competition, and all the better for it.
Well, yeah, I agree in that. I prefer games that are competitive than. Well, I mean, they can be at 200 if the wicket's as flat as a dodo.
Better to get an even contest. And Jamaica comes down the wicket and smashes that, but he smashes it straight to the man.
I mean, all those
Mitchell, and there's no run.
Those England-Australia warm-up games, they were all around about the 200, weren't they?
Yeah, there was over 400 runs scored in the warm-up game in Perth, and we thought, here we go.
Yeah.
But it has not been replicated.
And it's
in the
weird,
final.
actually, yeah, because the games at Perth have been quite low scoring since then, strangely.
It is odd. Jamaica settles over his bat. In comes the small-mouthed Bolt. Lets us, yes. And he just dabs that down to the man in the gully. There's no ball, so good.
He'd have bowled 3 on the trot, so they only have 1 left. Southey's bowled 2, didn't he?
Yeah, but there's no real weak links, you'd say, in the New Zealand set. Ferguson, Bolt, Southey, Sodhi and Sant. No, that is a very impressive lineup.
Yeah.
Santa's been in very good form in T20.
And Daryl Mitchell can bowl a few handy balls as well, can't he?
Yes, if required. Even Jimmy Neesham can, if required. In comes Bolt again, round the wicket this time, and that one is manoeuvred out into the leg side. It may go all the way. It's being chased to the boundary. Probably going to get chased down, and they come back presumably for 3. No 3 jingle.
Yeah. Oh no, no, we haven't got a 3 jingle. I didn't ask for one. It's true.
Tease us, you tease us.
Well, no.
So that's slightly broken the shackles, but there's only 4 and so far off this over with one ball to go.
Just think magic numbers. That's all.
Well, what's the lowest score? 223. So what did they? What they got? 1-6. What did they get? I can't even remember. 167.
Last ball of the over. Bolt to Banuka, and Bolt does an impressive attempt at field anyway off his own dive full leg, but it goes straight through to the man at long off anyway, at mid off anyway. The end of the dot ball at the end of the over, Sri Lanka 24 for 4 at the end of the 6th. Messi.
So Brian 001, our wonderful supplier of fiddles, says, with the way Sri Lanka is going, my lowest GPL is looking good. I don't know what your GPL is, Brian, because I don't know what your handle is actually in there. Well, you can DM me and let me know. Angelic Scooter says double figures. And Mog says, I feel sorry for the poor bastards who have to listen to Mark shriekingly hyperbolic Howard on the Foxtel comms. Yeah, that must be really sad. And Jay Grover says, right, this is silly. I'm off for 3 horror movies now after this. Any recommendations? Oh, horror movies, not for me. I think they're not my style. You got any horror movies?
I like a good horror movie. Babadook. She's a great Australian horror movie. It's not that horrific. If you want a real horror movie, what was that awful one of the murder out in the outback from a few years ago? I can't remember its name. That was horrible. Round the wicket comes Santner for the first ball of the over, and it's gone out to Trent Bolt on boundary edge. I'm assuming that was... It's not a wicket, is it?
Yes, it was.
It is a wicket, you know. It is a wicket. It's gone all the way. The 5th wicket has fallen, and Sri Lanka in all 6.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust.
Well, 50. I reckon 56 is the lowest score required by Sri Lanka for you to win the GPL. It might be a tight run thing, Messi. You never know.
Do we know what the lowest score in a World Cup international finals match is?
No.
24 for 5. It's got to be under threat, maybe. I just saw Trent Bolt looking ruefully over his shoulder at the boundary there, reminiscent of the 2019 World Cup final, and he just took one step back too many. There's a little tribute act there, I think, but he was comfortably inside the boundary.
So the lowest is 39 by the Netherlands against Sri Lanka, 44 by the Netherlands against Sri Lanka, and 55 by the West Indies against England. There you go.
Well, 55 the lowest by a test nation, then.
Well, that was
really
West
is
Indies.
under threat, I suspect.
Well,
it's West Indies. They are a test nation, though. You know what I mean? Not Netherlands.
That was in the World Cup in the UAE, wasn't it, as well? That was in the last version of it.
That's
right, so in comes...
That's in Shanaka.
Fucking hell. Where is he? Oh, Christ, there he is.
Came here from Sri Lanka as an all-round devotee. He bowled okay, but with the bat he averaged less than 3. Dasun Shanaka, we'll have to wait and see if he's good enough to play internationally.
Well, it turns out he is good enough, because he's manoeuvred the first ball each face from Santner down to the boundary for 4 of these.
That's very generous. I would say that was an outside edge.
Well, I just did a little segue. It went straight to where second slip would have been. There is a slip in place, but there's only one of them. And, actually, it wasn't too far away from Saudi's slip. Santner in for his 3rd ball of the over, and a textbook 4 defensive there from Shanaka, therefore near wrapped up ball.
Yeah.
The wicket-taking ball was fired in, and got a lot of it, just not quite enough. It would have been 6 on many grounds around the world, but not this one.
Well, Banuka's still there. Banuka's going to do it. Bazooka Banuka.
We shall see. Another dot ball there. Back to Santner, coming up with 5th ball of the over. Wicket 4 ... so far, and a sweep this time from Shanaka down to man at long leg. Very sedate cricket, very classical cricket, just 1 run. And Banuka will face the last ball of the over. He's 12 off 10.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about Sri Lanka at this point. You want to say something positive about how they can do it, but you just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I cannot for the life of me see it. Maybe we need Gary to get Gary Naylor of our parish to give a tweet about how it would be impossible for Sri Lanka to win it from here, and that should be the only hope I think they've got. In comes Santner over the wicket on this occasion to the left-handed Bhanuka. That's played out to the man with the square leg. Through for the single. Sri Lanka at 30 for 5 at the end of the 7th. Bhanuka on 13.
Warren just tweets bear-shaped with an exclamation mark. Leah's recommendations are Tremors, The Cars That Ate Paris, and Hellraiser. One of those is unlike the others, though.
The Cars That Ate Paris sounds good.
Yeah. There have been... Jay says there's been about 60 horror movies about the Falcone case. Babadook's mint. Aussie horror is very underrated. Love the acid barrels. Was that Snowtown?
Oh yes,
yeah.
Yes. I saw a new film from the director of Snowtown, which was The Stranger, which came out recently with Joe Edgerton. It's not a horror story, but it's excellent. I do recommend that.
I started watching it on your recommendation and actually couldn't be bothered.
I see. Thank you very much, Messi. Okay, so from the power play, Sri Lanka got 24 runs. That's 7th over there, 30 for 5. Ish Sodhi time.
Ish Sodhi. He's got a jingle.
He came on to the scene in 2013. From his hand, leg is spinning.
It's Ish Sodhi.
Only drops his first ball short and is dispatched by Bhanuka over long on for 6 of these.
I think that was very satisfying for him.
That was a big
88 metres, so it's a big old biff. That'll get his confidence up, get the juices going, so if he doesn't get overconfident. 95 Super 12 sixes according to the scoreboard. They hurry through for a single. I think possibly a misfield. Looks like Santner's feeling his fingers at point there. But so just one that gets Dashan up.
Oh, fuck it. I'm going to do it. It's not going to be out. It's going to be caught. I'm going to go for a run out.
Sri Lankan coaching staff looking pensive. In comes Sodhi again. This one is just defended, and the backing up by Bhanuka becomes a long way down the wicket and has to hurry back. There is no run, but he's totally enough back.
14 to 1 for a run out.
Yeah, I think the bookies are teasing the bear with their run outs.
You never know, Jez. You never know.
They don't look like they've got a great understanding, these two, so it's a reasonable bet, that's for sure. Sodhi bowls if you haven't seen him, bowls a slightly unusual form of leg break. He comes in like a sort of medium-paced dibbly-gobbly bowl, and then bowls a leg break. That one comes out the back of the hands. It's swept. It was too short, and it's swept to the man at deep square leg. I think they only come through for a single by Hassaranga.
It's whatever gets your rhythm, really, when you're a bowler. I mean, I had really long. I mean, when I was bowling, trying to bowl flat darts, I almost was like Derek Underwood. I had about 15,
I was going to say, Derek Underwood's
running.
the classic case for a medium pace runner, and he actually kind of did bowl medium pace as well. Derek Underwood, he just spam it a lot and was unplayable on certain wickets. In comes Sodhi again, and that's cut by Bhanuka, and cut all the way for 4 of these.
That's a good shot. He's the only man who's doing anything, isn't he?
He is, and Sodhi's gone for 12 so far, so a tiny ray of light. I wouldn't call it a sort of green shoot of recovery, because I think probably it's too far gone for that. However, it does give Sri Lankans in the crowd, as we're seeing, something to cheer about, and they have turned out in force. There's more of them than the Kiwis, in fact. Love their cricket. A little bit of a delay. The umpire's not happy with something. In comes Sodhi again for the last ball of the 8th over. And Bhanuka just manoeuvres it off his legs to the man big square leg boundary. They'll come through for 1. Sri Lanka will be 44 for 5 at the end of the 8th over.
So I can tell you at the end of 8 overs, New Zealand were 42 for 3.
So they're ahead. Sri Lanka are ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the
there you
wickets
go.
that matter, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
It is indeed.
I know. Jay Grover's, Angelic Scooter says in relation to Mark Howard, yes, I'm being reminded regularly why I avoid Fox Sports and KO during the summer. Jay says some fucker has taken the N94 and goggles off Neville. Fair dues, but if he gets known COVID, he'll probably fuck him up. And Angelic Scooter says, well, in Gary's defence, this chase could sure use a handy innings from a number 8.
wow.
Okay, good point. Mitchell Santner back on for his second over. He was 1 for 6 off his first. He's bowling to Banuka, comes left arm over the wicket. That is just fielded down to Matt Don, who is the hero of the New Zealand innings. Glenn Phillips, he can do no wrong just for the single. The trouble with Mark Howard is that he's based his, as far as I can tell, his commentary style on none other than James Brayshaw, who's the existing worst commentator that there is. I mean,
I've heard him. He's awful.
Absolutely terrible. Mark Howard sounds like James Brayshaw. Okay, second ball of the over. Santner, and Dustin has got that one away. Very good shot indeed. 4 of these.
It's Nissan Shi. It's Nissan Shi.
You'd imagine that the Sri Lankans will feel happier playing spin. I mean, well, I don't know, maybe that's totally stereotyping it, but they play a lot of spin in their own country. And they're generally
So Shanaka, he turned that one into a wide full toss. That one is dropped shorter and it's pushed through faster by Santner. Doesn't want the same thing happening again, and it's just played out as a drop ball by Shanaka. Quite sure how to pronounce it.
You'd have to think, actually, if Sri Lanka are going to win this, these two have pretty much got to do it, haven't they?
Yeah,
with the help of Hassaranga for a little biffing right at the end if it's required.
Round the wicket again comes Santner, and that one is played out by Shanaka down to the man at the point, I suppose, comes in off the boundary. Just gets the one right.
Is there a dew point in Sydney tonight? Is it dewy out there?
I should say there will be, yes.
Well, that could make it interesting as well then.
Santner just adjusting his field. Nuka settles those back. He's 26 off 16, so he's making a good fist of things so far. And that one is just doubled down and moved around the corner. And they will come back round 2. They don't really even have to hurry in the end. That was fairly comfortable too. And that brings up the Sri Lankan 50, 51 for 5.
Hey. In the 9th over, 11 overs, 120.
And right at the end of the 9th over as well. Are they still ahead of New Zealand? They probably are.
They are. New Zealand were 45 for 3 after 9 overs.
Where is their Glenn Phillips? Is it one of these two? In comes Santner again. Last ball of the over, and that is paddled down to long on, and they will come through for a single. Santner's 115 off his 2. Sri Lanka are 52 for 5 at the end of the night. The new run 29. Bassam on 11.
Mog says the cars at 8 Paris is an unexpected selection. Jay says, but there's a love thing going on between you and Jay tonight. Don't worry, Forthy. I liked it. Probably one for us younger ones. I presume you mean.
Yeah, exactly. There's the thinking man's vote. Well done, Jay.
It's too American for me. Jay says, actually, please don't send any more horror recommendation because it just reminds me of how many movies I wasted my life on. One I haven't seen would be a bingo. And Warren says, any predictions for the lineup for the semis? Well, I've got New Zealand, India, probably England, and South Africa.
Yeah, England. Whew. Okay, Callum Ferguson on for the last of our triumvirates time together. He's bowling to Banuka, who pulls away. He's seen something he doesn't like behind the bowler's arm, or he wasn't ready in some way. Waving his arm around. The interesting thing about that Stranger film is that the guilty party is played by Sean Harris, who also plays Ian Curtis in the film Control, and he's completely unrecognisable. That's what I call acting. Proper acting. Okay, in comes Ferguson for the first ball. The other comes round the wickets to Banuka, who lays it off his pads to the man at square leg. Just be one run, and the rotate the score, but they could really do with getting a bit more of Banuka dominating the strike. Hopefully Dasson will got the message. I'll hand it back over to him. Ferguson sporting this. No, it's a full moustache. Our moustache is in at the moment. I've lost track.
They are. They're always fucking in down your end of the planet, aren't they?
Our socialist utopia then to the planet. Yes, that's Sorry about that. Okay, in comes Ferguson again, this time over the wicket to Dasson. And that's a dot ball, just played down to Gignisham, I think. Gignisham? Yeah, it's a dot ball. And we see a couple of saxophonists in the...
Oh, excellent. The Sri Lankans are fucking fantastic right there. I've just realised
Trombone, the whole band there.
A complete mess up. I wasn't talking about the stranger, I was talking about the Watcher.
No, I don't know anything about the Watcher. Watch the Stranger, that's a great film. In comes Ferguson, over the wicket. It's a full toss, just wide of stump. Can't get that one away. Decent ball in this form of cricket. Wouldn't be in a test match, of course. The camera lingers on some attractive Sri Lankan ladies in the audience. The man who's shouting. And a rather plump Kiwi.
Yeah.
Waving his flag.
Is there any other kind? I don't know.
Scottish heritage.
So the Watcher is described as a 7-hour whodunit about a typewriter in a Guardian review.
Yeah, that does not sound ideal. And that is launched by Banuka. It's certainly gone all the way. Is it 4 or is it 6? Probably 4.
It's 4. Yeah, a couple of bounces into boundary. Over. Must have seen that mid-off was up. Hit it over the top.
Yeah.
Good shot.
Hit him over the top. Very good shot.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, he's having a decent day, Banuka.
He is, and he's probably, you'd say, the best batsman in the Sri Lankan lineup in this form of the game. He's got the highest strike rate, and he came in relatively late. He's only played 31 these matches, despite the fact he is 31, so perhaps a late developer. I'm not sure of his history. That's a dot ball, though. So we've got one ball of our time together left outstanding.
GPL is in play.
GPL is in play. Before we have a little switch around, that will be the end of my session for today. So Ajit's already back in place. Last ball of Ferguson's second over. He's gone for 18 off 5. It's certainly in the air. My feed doesn't indicate where it's landed. I'm assuming it's a wicket because Ferguson is being patted on the back.
It landed straight in mid-off hands, and
that is the end of Sri Lankan hopes, one would think.
Indeed. As we have a switcheroo, John is going to come into the ball by ball here, joined by Jack and Ajit.
So, thank you all. Jack, the next tweet is from Mog from 3 minutes ago.
Hello all. Well, I was about to say, Sri Lanka have put themselves in a position slightly ahead of where New Zealand were at the halfway mark. The wickets notwithstanding, of course. But I dare say Bear was right when he said this is potentially the end of the chance that Sri Lanka would probably chase this down. Unless Sri Lanka is not a stranger to playing those blinders. Somehow I can't see him do it here. He'll have one Indo Hassaranga who can bat a bit with him, and after that pretty much the tail, I would think.
Yeah. You would fear after the dismissal of Banuka that their chances are slim and none, and Slim might have left the building. But hey, 58 for 6. It's a shame because they'd actually taken 28 off the last 3 overs.
Right. I mean that ball really scuppered them because they were all right until the point where. He didn't have to go chance his arm against that ball. It hit the bat higher than he would have liked. Probably it was a little bit more unexpected bounce of the pitch, or he misjudged the length. But that was a real travesty because 34 of 22 is a pretty decent innings in most conditions, and all of Sri Lankan hopes was riding on this guy, Banuka. Jack?
Yeah, that's it. Game over.
Says Jack depressedly.
Yeah, backing Sri Lanka to win today.
There's a sense that our triumvirate has come together for the death throes, gentlemen. But
I think I did most of the damage in the first spell. I left them 5 down.
So it's down to you, Ajit, then.
Something like this, yes. I would like to take the credit. But in any case, would this then be just an exercise of damage limitation from here on in? Dafsun can bat, and Wanindu Hassaranga can do more than hold a bat. I mean, I think RCB counted on him as pretty much like an all-rounder. So the question is, can these two take them deep? Like, they had Daryl Mitchell, who did sort of a very stabilizing sort of a role. Now I don't think they have that sort of a chance, because in the last 5 overs, Glenn Phillips played an absolute blinder. I don't see that happening, because he was, I think, 59 when the last 5 overs began, and he raced to 100 from that point on. I really can't see Shanaka doing that, so it's going to take some doing here. And I should also point out, New Zealand would be a lot more better on the field than Sri Lanka were potentially.
Yeah, I think the trouble is with stabilising at this point, you need 11 and over. Here's Santner, he's in and bowls, and this is played up to mid-on, and just a single. I think Shanaka up to 12, I think. But, we're just seeing the demise of Banuka again, who went for one shot too many and found the fielder.
Was it just me, or did it feel like a bit of a set piece? Like almost New Zealand were expecting he will try to clear the mid-on, mid-off and try probably hole out to one of them. To me it felt like that almost.
Here's Santner again. And this is push forward and no run. Yeah, I don't know what you can do now if you're Sri Lanka, really. I mean, I'm not sure there's any great value in damage limitation. Here's Santner again, and again this is just played out to the man at short cover.
I think there is, simply because in the where you finish in the league stages will also mean whether you qualify for the next World Cup.
Yeah, so if you're playing for the next World Cup, then maybe you just play a bit carefully. This is cross-batted. It's gonna beat the fielder, I think. Yes, it does. It's beaten the fielder, who sprawled on the fence but couldn't keep it in. That was Ferguson, and it's gone for 4.
Well, there you go. Apparently it's tuk-tuk bang for Hassaranga.
Yes.
Maybe take a couple of balls in. I mean, I think that was a very sensible approach, frankly.
Couple of sighters and then swing it away to cow corner. Here's Santner again. This is thrashed out on the offside, brilliantly fielded by Finn Allen. Magnificent fielding at backward point. Potentially that saves 4.
Difference, I think. This sort of fielding right here.
Here's Santner again, and this is this one seems to bounce on him a little bit, and he just goes off the outside edge out on the offside. No run. That's the end of the over. 63 for 6. Jack.
I don't even remember where we were on tweets.
Ooh, that's a struggle. We were talking about horror movies. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go from the top down. GC Radio, the porn bot, in other words. His number and moustache make Lockie Ferguson my favourite Kiwi. Jay Grover says control is also jolly good. Mog says crucial. What's the DLS score? Warren, any predictions for the lineup for the semis? And that gets us to 15 minutes ago.
Ooh, that's going to be a wide, isn't it?
I thought he played it off his bat.
Maybe it came off something, because it's not been signalled as anything. It's just a dot ball.
I think he was lucky to be not bowled, I think, there.
It's gone right across the stumps. Yes, it came down off the glove and towards the keeper, who tried to scoop it up, but I think the batsman was in. Here's Sodhi again, and this is just played out on the offside for no run. Shanaka showed us he can play a shot or two, but certainly needs to play a shot or two now.
I think it's sort of a stick or twist time.
Yeah, absolutely. He comes down the pitch, and it's a bit of an ugly swing out towards deep mid-wicket. It's just a single. 64 for 6.
I think he was looking to loft it with the turn over extra cover, but I think he hacked it rather off the inside edge to somewhere like mid-wicket region.
I think maybe Sodhi saw him coming as well.
Yep, I think he held it just a little bit back. That was well bowled, actually.
quite a lot of premeditation there, I think. Here's Sodhi again. He's in, and this is slapped and caught, I think. Yes, caught at cover.
Pretty much.
By Williamson. And that's the end of Wanindu. 64 for 7. And
Any Sri Lankan fans wanting me to stay off commentary might want to pipe up now. Apparently, this is it.
That was easy as you like for Williamson. Straight to him. Wanindu throws his head back as if to say, why did I play that shot? And of course, if you're having to do that, you've already played it and it's too late. So there we are, 64 for 7, and this rather woeful Sri Lankan performance of the last 20 overs at least continues. Really, the sloppiness in the field seems to have followed them out there with the bat, really, and it's just gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, it's been it started so well and has ended pretty dismally. There's some GPL action in play here. So 64 is the current score. Bessie Jez has got 66 and 76. I have 78.
Oh, they're definitely in play, 76 and 78.
Yeah.
Here's Sodhi again, and this is played back down the onside of the pitch, and Sodhi dives across and fields off his own bowling. Just seeing the wicket again, he just literally slapped it straight into the hands of Williamson, didn't really get hold of it. Williamson caught it falling forward. Here's Sodhi again, and this one beats the edge and goes through to the keeper. That's a much better over from Sodhi after his fairly dismal first effort. Just one off it, the
spinner is able
wicket.
to do whatever he wants, more or less. He's able to try any type of delivery here. The batsman looked like he was frozen in the headlights.
Yes, if you're going to go through your variations, now's not a bad time to do it, you would suggest. But,
any tweets?
It's coming.
Shall I cue up the song?
Bot.
Hold on.
No. We've got the porn bot. Jago says, "Ajit, you're an utter bastard." Brian says,
"It's been
rather uncalled for."
Yeah, looks like Sri Lanka are on the quick exit route from this match. That'll let Ajit get back to his cooking. He didn't tell us what he was cooking. Any picks, Ajit?
I was making a lady's finger and potato curry. I've heard it came out well. My roommate just told me.
My Jamaican wife loves ladies' fingers, Ajit, and I hate them.
It is a bit of an acquired taste.
Oh, this is slapped straight up in the air. This is going to be an easy catch.
Oh!
Oh, he's not. He's dropped it.
He's done a Sri Lanka.
He's done a Sri Lanka. Santner's done a Sri Lanka and dropped it. It did go a long way up, and you thought he must be right underneath this, and he wasn't right underneath it, and had to dive for it. Made a right Horlicks of it, in fact. He went right up into the lights, and he's just ended up not getting under it at all, really. It might have brushed the fingertips, and it's hit the deck, and they've taken a single. 65 for 7. And this is edged and caught. Well, there you go. They didn't get out off the previous ball, but Mahesh has gone for naught.
It could have been 2 in 2, but never you mind. At least he's got 1.
Now 2 in 3.
Now you're gone.
Just drifted into him, then moved away a little bit off the pitch. Nicked, and the easiest of slip catches, really. 65 for 8. And yeah, I think Sri Lanka can't wait for this game to end now. And as Bear said earlier, I think New Zealand's net run rate will be about 10 at the end of this game. So we can pretty much put them into the semi-finals, I think.
Not just that, I think there's also a massive favour they're doing to England with the way they're playing Sri Lanka. It will have massive bearing on the rest of the group games, the way their net run rate is taking a nosedive. For me, at least. That's how I think it might pan out.
I still think Australia are favourites to make the semi-finals ahead of England. Because England have got to play New Zealand, and at the moment New Zealand look pretty difficult to beat. Here is Santner again, and
not far from his pad.
Appealing for that, and yet it seemed to come right off the bat.
No, not very far from his boot. I think it was a foolish ball. I said the word pad, that was wrong. So it looked like it could have been boot first.
Here is Santner again. This is just pushed out on the leg side, and they amble through for a single.
Oh, they don't, I think.
6 for 8. Or
they don't. I think the skipper said you stay on that and it's okay.
Oh, so he's turned the single down.
Yeah, he's desperate to get the 12 runs I need.
This one just goes past the bat through to the keeper. Again, 1 run and a wicket from the over. That's the last 2 overs have produced that. 65 for 8 from 13.
Excellent spell from Santner. 2 for 21 off his 4.
Cricket Takes says this set of commentary changes reminds me of John Obi Mikel, aka the human full-time whistle. Angelic Scootus, also hashtag keeper of the tweets. Hashtag Scooters. Well, to be fair to Sri Lanka, they only need 11 and over in the second half. Yeah, it's true. Cricket Takes says Michael Clark's commentary feels like listening to AI-generated corporate statements.
Oof.
I think probably a feeling shared by many
That's
people.
not a compliment, clearly.
No. Well, I reckon Michael Clark would think that was a compliment, though.
Oh, possibly.
Jay Grover, Ajit, I think it's. What does that mean?
Ferguson in for the first ball of the new over, and this is this is misfielded down at third man and goes for 4. Oh, that's dreadful. That's definitely in the Sri Lankan category. Sony, he literally bent down to pick the ball up. He bent down to pick the ball up, didn't get a barrier in the way remotely, got probably 2 fingers on the ball and just rolled past him and went for 4. The Sri Lankans would be proud of that piece of fielding, I think. 69 for 8. Here's Ferguson again, and this is a pretty awful ball down leg side. It's helped round the corner, down to fine leg where Mitchell is patrolling, and he throws it back, and it's a single. It's 70 for 8.
You were reading what could have been an interesting tweet, Jack. I don't know what happened, or did you miss something?
Right, so he said, Ajit, I think it's turned the card table over, accused everyone of cheating, last nearest, and then run out of the back door time. So it made more sense than I thought it was going to.
Alright.
Here is Ferguson again, and this is dinked up over the top of mid-wicket. Fielder comes round the boundary, throws back in, and they scamper back for 2.
It's that intrepid Phillips on the boundary as well.
Ah, yes, the man of the hour. Certainly the man of the previous hour. But, yeah, Ferguson's bowling has been fairly ordinary.
Has he rigged his
Phillips
ankle or
looks
something?
like he's done himself a mischief doing that.
I think it's cramp.
Throwing the ball back in.
Yeah.
They'll hope it's cramp.
It did not look like he twisted anything. Just
Oh
dear.
Ouch.
Looks like a 3-year-old trying to turn around for the first time. But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's off.
Yeah, he's gone off.
That looked like cramp. Yeah.
I don't think it's anything other than that. He doesn't. He looks as if he was almost half laughing it off, but he looked like a boxer who'd taken a punch and thought he was all right, and then suddenly found that he wasn't because his legs didn't obey him. That was a wide from Ferguson, who, it has to be said, has not been great today.
It's a bit of short pitch chin music thrown at his opposite number, and he wasn't happy, I think, that it was wide.
I think he's got this in Ferguson, the kind of crazy game.
He's just not been great, really. He's in again, and this is played out to backward point, no run.
Is it just me, or does Ferguson look like somebody from a colonial era with that moustache, that whistling moustache, and that attitude?
He reminds me of the. He reminds me of the general from the Outlaw Josie Wales, which is probably me showing my age, but yeah. Here is Ferguson again, bowls, and this is driven to cover, no run. Yeah, the immortal lines from the Outlaw Josie Wales that the general says to Clint Eastwood. There's an old saying: "To the victor belongs the spoils." Clint Eastwood responds and says, "There's another old saying, General, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining." Which is one of Clint Eastwood's great lines. Here's Ferguson again. Oh dear! I think the batsman thought that was shorter than it was, and he ducked, and it's actually hit the bat, I think, gone out on the leg side for no run.
What we said, a bit of intimidatory stuff. Bit more intimidatory stuff there.
Indeed,
He looked comfortable, the batter, when the ball was pitched up. Well, maybe some more tweaks.
Yeah, I'm just looking at GPL scores. So coming up, we've got Messages on 76, myself on 78, JB on 81, Messages again on 86, D Wells on 89, and Hombre Nuevo as well on 90. So
there's a chance it might be one, and it's a lot of money.
It's
336, did we say?
Something like that, yeah. It's
definitely worth winning. We're seeing pictures of Phillips, who's taking in some liquid. I think kind of hoping it's cramp, and I think after the way he batted today, most cricket fans will be hoping it's cramp, because if it's worse than that, that might be nasty.
Moggs let us know that he's unimpressed with Sri Lanka, and he's tweeted the official Sri Lanka handle there as well, so I'm sure they'll feed that back to the team after the game.
Interesting field here as the new bowler Saudi comes
slapped, in. Yes, Southee's back on, and he's slapped out to cover on the fence. It's just
there are four fielders on the leg side, all on the boundary for Saudi. I don't know what that's all about.
Well, he's probably going to bowl wide of off stump then, you would think. But
he did that. The first ball that was almost on plan, he wanted to get Shanaka off strike. He gave him an easy single through to extra cover, deep extra cover. But now I'm more curious what the field would be like. Probably New Zealand are going to try and win this as soon as possible, right? They don't want to prolong this.
Here is Southee again, and this is played back down the onside of the pitch.
You'll not have a whole lot of short pitch
run.
Intimidatory stuff from Saudi, I feel. He'll be more pitch up. I mean, occasional ball held back so that the batsman can nick it through or so on. It's a tail end after all.
Southee's currently got 4 for 8 in the World Cup. 4 for 8 in 4 overs and 5 balls.
Pretty decent outing then, so far.
Pretty decent, really, yeah. He's in again, and bowls, and this is driven out towards that cover sweeper. Maybe they thought about 2, but they didn't go for it. It's just 1. The throwback wasn't great. Keeper.
I thought that was pretty slick glove work from Devon Conway, the way he pouched it so nonchalantly. It was a terrible throw.
Yeah, it was awful. Reminiscent of yesterday, and the Zimbabwe keeper running up and down the mid to field them in the middle of the wicket. This is a big swing. This is going to clear the ropes. That's a big hit. Wow, that's disturbed a few people in the crowd who may not have been paying too much attention because there hasn't been much intent. But yeah, a long way back.
Must be a good 85 meters. I know. Yeah, 84 meters.
84 meters. Yeah. Let's put a dent in Southee's figures.
He's a strong boy, Shanaka, when he chooses to. He can hit it hard.
That is a big hit. It was dropped in the crowd. In keeping with the rest of this match, it was dropped in the crowd. But 81 for 8. That's taken a few people out of the GPL.
Next ball was sort of full. Next ball was sort of full, but yeah, Shanaka has a play and a miss.
Yeah, that shot through to the keeper, didn't it?
I think this is the thing. Saudi can occasionally surprise the batsman with the zip of the pitch or how fast the ball seems to come off the pitch, and that gets him a lot of his wickets.
That was a bit more vim in that. This one is played out down to third man. It was just a single. That's the end of Southey's over. He has 1 for 10 from 3, and we're due for a switcheroo, I think.
Jack,
Yeah, I'm passing on to myself.
Yes.
Or you're passing on to me. But I've got some tweets to get through. Might as well read them out.
I will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Well, I'm not in tomorrow, but I won't see you tomorrow, but Hendo will.
Leah says Michael Clark has less sentience than AI developed by mankind thus far.
It's interesting with
Grover.
Michael Clark, I have to say, because when he first went into the commentary boxes, when he was injured, when England were over in doing the Ashes out there, and he was kind of common sense, and that must have been, what, 4 or 5 years ago? I mean, he was still captain of Australia, but he was injured, so they had him in the box. And he was quite sensible and quite knowledgeable about the game, and he just seems to have got terribly worse.
Yes, as Ferguson's in, it's driven to mid off on the bounce, no run. We're up to, who did I say it? It's Jay Grover
I've
talking
got
about stick or twist or something like that.
Yeah, I've got it.
On
Thanks,
the Twitter
Jack.
sphere. 82 for 8. We're playing for the GPL now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are playing for GPL, which could be quite exciting, because obviously you just got blown out of the water with that 1-6.
But I'm back in a minute.
Ah.
Here comes Ferguson, full in on the pads of Dasson, or Shalaka, who's trying to make some room to go through the offside. He stays with it, squirts it in towards deep square leg, and picks up a couple.
We're on 84, so who's out? Messi Jez next up, 86. That's a duo. D Wells on 89. Ombre Nuevo on 90.
Yeah, it's more and more likely that it's going to be one the more they score, isn't it? Because they're getting quite dense.
Yeah, anywhere in the low hundreds.
Anything up from 109 through to 130 pretty much just covered.
Yeah,
Ferguson in. Big swing and a miss from Shanaka. No run.
God, it is, isn't it? Crikey. Come on, Sri Lanka. A few lusty blows. The bank needs to win again.
Anything above 102, in fact, is danger.
Quick couple of wickets now would do it. One way or the other.
Ferguson begins his wind up full. Hoiked down towards fine leg. It's 1 bounce, 2 bounce. It's running towards the rope. It makes it into the fence. There'll be another 4. 92 now for Sri Lanka.
That's a Mogg figure. 92.
Yeah, Mogg's on it at 92. Next
another 4 will put me and Herbie on it.
Yeah, split pot. Still 150 quid each, isn't it? Nearly 170.
Yeah.
I'm happy to share, Jack.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. It's a good night out, that.
Is there can we sorry, the ball's been bowled, it's been knocked out towards deep square leg, so I'll come through for a single. I was going to say, is there some kind of playoff we can do to take down the whole pot? A decider.
Oh no. You're such a gambler, aren't you, Jack? Jay said Jack Ashett and said stick or twist, and I was expanding on the card playing analogy with that other tweet.
Here is Ferguson. It's full. It's gone down the leg side. It's real wide. Yep, umpire has his arms out. Ferguson will have to re-bowl that. He's been a bit wayward today. Lockie.
I mean, what are they going along at the moment? 5, 6 and over roughly. 6 over and 4 overs gets them up to around about 114, doesn't it? You know, but then it is the tail. You could quite easily lose 2 and 2.
Yep, anything's possible. Well, apart from a win, of course.
Yeah, see, they should be out resign. This is my resigning thing.
Here comes Ferguson again. He goes short. Vegeta plays it from square leg. Will pick up a single out to deep point if they took it. Not even sure they will have. Yeah, they did. 91 for 8 at the end of the over.
Mog says, I remember liking the cars at 8 Paris, but it's been a long time for me. Ravinair says, I almost posted Vienna for Ooh Sri Lanka, but prefer the musical stylings of T.S. Eliot from The Hollow Men. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends.
Is it the cars of
but with
that
a
ate
whimper.
Paris, or is it the cows?
Yes,
that
it
ate-
is.
The cars.
No, the cars.
Oh, see, I heard the cows when I first heard it and thought, yeah, that's an interesting movie. How
Well,
does
it's
that
set
work?
in Australia, so it's not the real Paris.
Ah,
Put it
right,
like that.
okay.
And Mog says, shit, that looks like he's done his knee. He was talking about Taylor on the edge there. The view seemed to be he had cramp, actually.
Yeah.
And Leah said the cars at 8 Paris seemed like a mixture of hillbilly horror and Mad Max, so quintessentially Australian. And in relation to John's statement, he said, Mog says, I prefer the statement, don't shit on my leg and tell me it's a brown kitten. Oh, yes.
Wide ball from Trent Bolt, who begins his final over. Slower one. Just past the pad.
And Mog says, have you seen Wake in Fright, which is a bloody good... The original one with Donna Pleasance I actually enjoyed the most. It was very, very well done.
Donna Pleasance?
Donald.
Is that his sister?
Yeah.
Bolt full and defended with half a bat for Vegeta into the leg side, no run.
Well, these two are
92.
showing you can stay out there.
Still on a Mog number.
Still on a Mog number, yeah.
Yeah.
We need one more run and a couple of wickets.
I need 4 and 2 wickets. Or 8 and 2 wickets.
Yeah, so it's all getting too crowded.
Here is Bolt. It's a push and run. Will there be a run out? Oh, I should have been. It's a shy of the stumps from not that far away, and Kane Williamson has missed. In fairness to him, he only had a stump to aim at, but he was about 4 yards away. Probably would have fancied his chances there. It's a suicide sprint from Sri Lanka. I'm not really sure what they were hoping to achieve with that, but well, I guess they get away with it.
Are you on the run out at the moment, Bear?
Nah, they wouldn't let me have run. When it gets this deep, they don't let you have run out.
Oh, bugger.
I think you can only get caught or not caught, unless they've changed it now. Which is
Caught
boring.
or not caught.
Yeah, exactly. It's around about. It's odds on for caught, and marginally over evens for not caught.
As Shanaka faces up inside edge from a slower ball into his pad, and they won't pick up a run there.
I think Mog's getting increasingly desperate. He just says, 10 more runs, you fucking pricks!
Yeah.
Well, you know, 93. I need 2 wickets. Obviously, I'm playing the bank, so I'm looking for a gap, and there aren't that many to hit coming up. So I'm looking for wickets.
Big time. We get through this. It's 107. I think it's the only number for quite a long time. As Bolt comes in, Shanaka goes for a sweep, but doesn't time it, and Bolt sweeps up to prevent a run.
Yeah, basically I've only got what we on. This is a good number for me, and so is 93, 4 and 5, 97, 98, 100 and 101, and after that I'm fucked.
Yep. Chris Silverwood doesn't look very happy. No, I don't think I've ever seen him happy, to be honest.
Well, no one's ever seen him happy, I think. Delusional, not happy.
Full and fast from Bolt, and it's too quick for Shanaka. Not quite in line with the stumps. It passed through to the keeper. But a very good over for Bolt while we've been talking about the GPL. Only 2 runs from it, and one of them was wide.
Well, 3 for 13 off 4 overs isn't going to be too bad, is it?
No.
Well, the obvious player of the match today, if you had Glenn Phillips, you're on for a winner.
Yeah.
Or even higher score in the Kiwi innings, you'd have probably got about 6 or 7 to 1, I thought.
Bolt in, it's hacked, it's high up in the air. Will it be 6 or will it be out? It will be out.
Oh, yes, come on.
Caught at deep square leg. Williamson gives it a round of applause. 93 for 9.
Oh.
The crowd says, the crowd says, the crowd says.
Well. No one's got 93, have they? I've got 2 runs to play with 1 wicket. A single and then a golden duck would suit me just fine.
Well, Jack, it's up to you to commentate another 3 runs for you and for me.
Yeah. Well, look, I think I speak for the entire listenership when I say that they're willing us home here.
I'm not sure.
Jay Grover's, or Jay says, I've no dog in this fight, but I reckon Bear will look like a Margaret Keane painting when the house finally loses. It's been such a glorious run.
It has been a glorious run for the house. It does have to come to an end sooner or later, and today looks very much like the day, it has to be said.
It looked like the day on
it has to be.
on
That was
Thursday.
also true. Yeah. It's the joy of it.
Jay also says, the cows that ate Paris sounds like a film I'd watch.
Well, exactly. I was wondering what it was like. I mean, it sounded quite interesting. I was imagining giant cows rampaging through Paris.
Right. Ish Sodhi will come in to bowl. And he's bowled a big wide. That's good. That's good for the GPL people like myself.
I've still got here. I got this and 1 more run.
94 for 9. Couple more of them, Ish, and then send the wrong one in.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Chip it up. Come on, chip it up. Deep square leg.
Here he comes, Ish Sodhi. Defended by Vegeta into the offside. They do not take a single.
But they could also block out 3 maidens.
I'd back them wides to come through for me.
Yeah, I would actually, but you need 2, don't you?
Yes, here's Ish Sodhi down the pitch from Vegeta, and they picked up a single. It's 95 for 9. It brings Lahiru on strike, the number 11. I don't think we can expect much from him.
No, I don't think you can.
Hopefully there's a wide, though.
Yes, I'm going for a wide.
Or a run out going for 2. I'd accept that.
I don't think you'll get that at this stage.
Turns of pace when he burst on the scene.
Defended back to the bowler. It's not an orthodox technique, put it that way. I just need him to find a run somewhere here. Lots of gaps.
And if he hits
Lots
a
of
6
gaps.
though, there's big trouble for me, isn't it? I know 101's a safe number as well.
You're sort of jumping between the gaps, aren't you?
Here comes Sodhi. Pulled! It's out into the outfield. Will it find the rope? It's found the rope.
Fucking hell.
Disaster.
Disaster. It is disaster. 99. I think someone's got 99, haven't they?
JB's got 99.
Ooh, I need another run.
I need 5 more runs to be back in the game.
Yeah, me too. Oh no, sorry. No, I've got more than that. Okay. I need 7.
Here comes Sodhi. Oh, chopped off his stumps. I thought he was going to let that one through. Goes to extra cover. There'll be no run. It's 99 for 9.
Who is JB? They've entered a fair few times, but I'm not even sure.
I wonder.
I thought it was Mr. Grover. To start with, but it isn't.
Short turns into the hip of Lahiru. There will be no run. 99 for 9 at the end of the 18th.
JB is Anthony Bush. 2000. Well, that's the email address, anyway. So, in terms of tweets, we've got Mog saying, wickets, damn it, wickets. Leah says, Donna Pleasant is either a Bond girl or a porn star, which is a bit cooler.
Yeah, there probably is a porn star by that name. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ravi says, Bear, if you ever interrupt the reading of my tweet again, I will make you regret it. I don't know how, but I'm getting ready a weed-stuffed bear voodoo doll.
Ah.
Bit of a waste of weed, really.
Yeah, exactly. You're better off smoking it.
And Mog says, if it ends on 93, I may regret certain tweets I sent to Cheers recently. Yeah, well, fortunately for you, it's well past 93 now.
It's on 99. Here comes South. It's full. A little bit of a floaty, slower ball, full toss, actually, in the end. Vegeta doesn't do anything with it, though.
He might miss one of those, though. Right in
Might
front of
miss
the
one of
stumps.
those, yeah.
Right in front of the stumps.
Close to
JB,
mid-wicket,
that's
not
what
a run.
JB's hoping for somewhere out there.
Do we have to start till midnight to put in entries in for the next one, Bear?
Well, if no one wins it, yeah, I'll open it up straight
Yeah.
away.
Okay. Ooh, another ball from Southie. On a length, defended into the covers.
Tomorrow's game's
Actually,
No run.
It's a good time to mention that we will be covering, I will actually be there, so I won't be on air, but we're covering a really important game tomorrow between South Africa and India coming from the Perth Stadium.
Yeah, that'll be a biggie.
Yeah.
Should be a good one. Starts at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning for those of you in England, because obviously the clocks go back tonight. So we'll be on air an hour early, GMT.
Here comes Tim Southie. He's gone full. It's pushed back to him. There's no run.
JB is still in there. He's still hanging in there by his fingernails.
Now there's an issue of the number of balls left. There's only 9 balls. I need you to get 5 runs, Sri Lanka. Come on.
There's an easily skewed 4. Well, I mean, after this lot of runs, I'm giving it away, basically. It's a question of who's taking it.
Here is Tim Southie loading up for the 4th ball of his over. It's a swipe. It's gone down the ground. It doesn't beat the infield. Good piece of fielding from, I think, Guptill on as the sub.
Presumably from
the
Phillips.
cramping Phillips.
Yeah.
That could easily have been 4. If Sri Lanka were fielding, that was almost certainly 4.
But it's
the
not.
batter didn't even bother running. He just assumed it would be 4, I think.
I think
we should be able to let them know that they're batting for something by saying, look, this is what we need.
Some randoms around the world need you to score this many runs. It's going to be a wide.
Wide! It's a wide down the leg side. Tim Southie has brought up the 100.
The bank is in play once more. Bring it home. Bring it home, Timmy.
2 more runs and you're pretty fucked there, Bear.
Lots of gallows humour from Sri Lankans in the stadium who were celebrating the 100 in fine style. The Sri Lankan flags flying all the way round the SCG.
Come on, Yorker.
Here comes Tim Southie. Will he deliver the Yorker? I reckon no. He goes short and an awkward looking, well, that's not really a cricket shot, nudge from Rajita goes back into the pitch and there will be no run.
Leo reckons with that wallpaper you're broadcasting from your nursery, Jack.
This is the kitchen.
Is that
These are all the animals I like to eat.
I think I've eaten giraffe.
Have you?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
I can't remember. Most of it tastes like chicken, funny enough. I've eaten alligator,
Kenya.
crocodile. Yeah, they have a
That's a rattlesnake. Here comes Southie. Turned into the leg side. They're going to set off for a single. Will they make it? Yes, very comfortably. Southie fields off his own bowling, but not quick enough to make any kind of a play. 101 for 9 at the end of the 19th.
Angelic Scooter says the really big game tomorrow might just be Zimbabwe-Bangladesh. Well, that's a really good point. We won't be covering that one, unfortunately, because it's a silly time.
Yeah, early mornings are tricky.
Warren says, cows that eat Paris, but time the animals turn the table on the French. Force-fed geese are cheering everywhere. And in relation to the GPL, Mog says, are we sure JB isn't noted commentator James Bloody Brayshaw? And Jay says, for fuck's sake, I've been accused of being porn bot, and now JB, I'm not changing my name again after Bear saw through the Mandawala after about 2 tweets.
Ish Sodhi is in. There's a cut shot. It runs out to the fielder on the boundary. Tim Southie, he returns it.
Right, we're in territory
it's just a single. 102. Come on, boys.
I've got a stepping stone at 107 and 108.
Come on, boys.
Ooh.
So I need 104 runs here.
I need 5 or 6. 5 or 6.
I've never felt so Sri Lankan.
I need a snick over the keeper for 4.
I do that,
Here
and then
comes Ish Sodhi's down the pitch. Stumped. He's out.
He's out. 2 wins.
102. There is a winner.
There is a winner.
There is. It
Wells.
is D.
D. Wells. D. Wells. You won. You won how many?
336 pounds.
I missed by 2 runs.
Oh, gutted.
Well done,
Disaster.
though.
Well
D-Wells
done.
put lots of entries in over the last few weeks, so it's a well-deserved return on investment.
Oh, 302. It says
And
no winners.
thank you for everybody else who's played too, because apart from enriching D-Wells, it also helps our coffers and keeps us on air. So it's appreciation from us for that.
I'll sum up what happened in the cricket match quickly, because that was ostensibly why we were doing this broadcast. New Zealand took on Sri Lanka in a must-win game for both sides. New Zealand got off the worst possible start, 24 for 4 at the end of the power play, but Glenn Phillips, the pocket rocket, the big unit, as Forty called him, notched 109 off just over 60 balls. That got New Zealand up to a pretty competitive 168, and Sri Lanka, similar to New Zealand, did not get left to a great start. Unlike New Zealand, they did not have a Glenn Phillips to get them back into the match, and have subsided to a 65-run defeat and almost certain elimination from the T20 World Cup. It's another good win for New Zealand, though, another healthy net run rate boost. They play England over the weekend, not over the weekend, later, but they probably bought themselves breathing room to actually lose that match and still progress. So looking like they'll be one of the semi-finalists, looking like Sri Lanka will go home, and this T20 World Cup continues to rumble on. What were you going to say, Bear?
No, I put in the wrong score, and it came up as no one to win. I put in 302 for some reason instead of 270. But I do know that D-Wells won.
No, we'll have to play again this evening.
No. D-Wells does get paid out. Just because I put in a wrong number at the back end doesn't matter. D-Wells, I will do that probably by the end of the day.
Do we have any?
Hour or so.
Do we have any reaction on Twitter to?
Mostly the GPL, to be honest.
Yeah.
Jay says, gigantic blimp over the ground. Think of the GPL. And Warren says the GPL makes games bearable. And Jay says there will be no guff about Jack's wallpaper. It is boss. Twit Twoo says if you do eat giraffe, I can recommend the neck. Mog says, no, sorry, Jay Grover says, hooray, D-Wells. And Mog says, you lucky bastard. Now, can I borrow about 330 quid?
Yeah.
And Omre Nuevo says, congratulations, D-Wells, and thanks, GC. A very tense ending for some of us. Great fun. It has been great fun, hasn't it? And Jay just says, thank you all very much. Well, thank you all for being with us as well, because it's been great having your tweets to keep us amused while we watch what was actually a really one-sided game, but it's been a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
Well,
without the gambling, that would have been rubbish.
What does that say about sport, eh?
Yeah. Bet more.
Right, that's it for us for the day. We'll be back in the morning. Hendo's piloting the show tomorrow, I think with Jason. I'll be on the end of a computer getting rung up every 5 minutes, but there we go, whilst I'm off to watch my son play footy. Everyone have a good day. Tomorrow, yeah, we're on air at 10 to 11. Presume there's no rain in Perth. It's the one place that seems safe at the moment.
There may be an occasional little shower, but nothing serious.
Oh, fucking hell.
So, on that nice, pleasant note to end, we're going to play the theme tune and we're out. See you tomorrow. Bye.
See you guys.
Patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come. This is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Carol Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket, It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick Guerrilla Cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than red counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, Guerrilla Cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre.